Well, good evening, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. And just as the show was getting started, all of my ring lights crashed down all around me. So it's a little glitchy up in here tonight. And I hope you guys are doing just wonderful. And hope you guys have had a wonderful week. Oh my gosh. I tell you what, y'all. We are here on this beautiful Saturday night on Valentine's Day. You guys are all my Valentines tonight. Y'all know that. And thank you guys so much for joining us. I have my friend, Miss Amber Joslin, here in the studio tonight. She is out of West Virginia. And I think this is the first time on the Cryptid Hunters channel, but I had interviewed her a long time ago over on Spaced Out Radio. And so we're going to get into a lot of her experiences tonight. She, like I said, she lives in West Virginia. She has had encounters with Gugway, also a Wendigo. We're going to talk about that tonight. A troll, some fae, and all sorts of other things, y'all. It's going to be wild. I really want to hear about the Gargoyles and the vampire cult she's encountered out there as well. So y'all buckle in. Get your popcorn. We're in for a good, fun night tonight. And yes, I hope you guys, like I said, have had a wonderful Valentine's Day. And so if y'all would like to check out my website, please go over to thecryptidhuntress.com. You can find all of my shows over there. And of course, all of my calendar of events as well, including this next, what is today? Next weekend, it'll be a week from today. I will be at the North Carolina Comic-Con. That is going to be at the, the Western Carolina University in Cullowhee, North Carolina. That's an all-day event next Saturday. If you guys want to come down and join us at that, I do have some of my good friends showing up for that. And some of my teammates are going to be there. And I'm going to be talking about Bigfoot and Dogman and all those other fun things. So y'all come see me at that. If y'all want to come have a good time and you're in Western North Carolina, it'll be a good time. Okay. Also, I have some other events coming up. We got the Georgia Bigfoot Conference next month. And I can't remember what else. It's on my website. Okay. Also, I have a Patreon. I have an Etsy shop. And all those links are over there on my website. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, let's get into our show tonight. My lighting is all messed up. Sorry about that. I can't get anything right these days, y'all. Okay. All right. So on this episode, we are going on the hunt with West Virginia native Amber of Amber's Paraworld to discuss her encounters with Gugway, Windigo, gnomes, gargoyles, the fae, the West Virginia white thing as vampire cults, and more. We're going to talk about her I'm going to say it'd be terrifying to me, but her experiences with the Randonautica app in that game as well. Something that I have been kind of encouraged to do actually with a friend of mine. We're going to talk about that tonight, and it is really scary. But Amber goes out by herself with this Randonautica app. We're going to get into that tonight. Amber is a physical medium and an author. She connects and channels everything from ETs, cryptids, the living, and the dead. She documents her journey on YouTube, and she is the author of the best-selling book titled The Dead in Me, available on Amazon, and her book, Appalachia, Mostly True Scary Stories, also available on Amazon. She is also an ordained minister and can officiate your wedding. If you guys are getting married, it is Valentine's Day. You guys getting engaged tonight? Holler at Amber. Okay, especially if you're over in West Virginia. And you guys can find her on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, you name it. Just look for Amber's Paraworld. Please help me welcome to the show, Miss Amber Joslin.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Amber.
Hey.
Hey, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. It'll be fun.
Well, of course, Amber. I just did a show this week on a Wendigo, an alleged Wendigo out of South Carolina. And I know you have had an encounter yourself, and I want to talk about all your encounters with these West Virginia cryptids and shapeshifters and stuff. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself before we get started, because I know that I had you on Spaced Out Radio a long time ago, I think, right?
Yes.
And this is your first time on my channel, and I want to introduce you to everyone properly.
Well, my name is Amber, and I love long walks on the beach with dead guys, and just going out and doing spooky stuff. It's kind of like a dopamine thing for me. I'm like super ADHD, so it just some people like skydiving, some people like fast cars. I like being scared, so that's kind of where I'm at. And West Virginia is the only state that is 100% surrounded by the Appalachian Mountains, so we're like right in the heart of it. And there are definitely some things out here that will freak you out at night. And speaking of that, you should make a trip one this summer, and we'll go someplace creepy and camp out.
Oh my God, I want to do that. I also want to do this Randonautica thing sometime with you. I would love to do that with you. I want to talk about all this tonight, okay? And it freaks me out even thinking about doing Randonautica. What can I ask you just right off the bat? What is Randonautica, and like how did you find this, and why do you do it? Like, is it exciting or is it scary?
It's both, but I mainly did it when it was like kind of colder out, and I didn't really want to go just walk through the woods when I was like freezing cold. But you just like set your intention, and then it gives you a random location. A lot of them are misses. Sometimes they're like somebody's driveway or, places you really can't access. At least here, we have terrible signal in the hollers and mountains, but some places were super creepy. There's a lot of the ones that I've heard, when I do them, you can hear the dead people just talking. Put some headphones on, you can hear them.
Really?
There was one particular location. It took me to somebody's driveway. And this was so late at night. I don't even know what I was doing, but I backed up, and there was they had a gate up at the time. It's not there now because I did recently go past it again. But I was having visions, like psychic visions of a man that lived down this road. I only think there was one house. That's what I saw. But he had taken some girls there and really hurt them, and they were missing. And I felt like it was probably 25, 30 years ago, but there were several of them, and they were just like, he hurt us. I just kept seeing him everywhere. They're like, he hurt me, he killed me. And I'm like, what? I mean, I can't, there's some things I have no proof. I can't go to the police. They're going to look at me like I'm a loony bin, but that's connected.
Yeah, that's why I worry about that too, with the remote viewing stuff that I do. I mean, I've been given targets of missing people and cold cases and stuff. And so it's important that the type of remote viewing that we do is like written out, and like it's got the date and the timestamp and like a tasker. So the people, if we do locate bodies and stuff, they know like this was, we've got the whole process down and where we were and what time and all that. So because it is a little suspicious, right? You're like, I found a body, or I know I had this dead person, tell me where they are. I can imagine police departments are like, well, okay.
Right. I mean, usually when I go to events, there's usually one person that'll come up to me and be like, hey, so-and-so's been missing, and I would like you to find them. And I'm like, you don't understand like what goes into this, because it doesn't matter what I say unless you're going to go get a crew and hire somebody to dig or to investigate something. If you don't have enough evidence, the police aren't going to look into it. It's a really tough situation sometimes.
Yes, it can be. I feel you. I totally feel you on that. Okay, so when you use this app, I'm so curious about this. Okay, when you use that app, like, is it connected to the dark web or anything, or is it just like how do they know like where to send you?
I don't think it is.
Mhm.
I think it's just, I mean, I didn't feel anything like that with it, but I do think that it can definitely take you to crazy places because it has me so many
Yeah.
times. You know, I don't do it anymore. And the one night that I decided to stop, I had pulled off the road. It was raining, it was foggy, it was cold. And I just pulled off to like look at the directions better, you know, like to see where I was going because, you know, I was going to lose signal. And this truck pulls up behind me and puts his high beams on me. And I'm just pulled off at an abandoned gas station. And he's this far from my bumper. I had my backup camera on. So he's this far from me. And then he pulls up by my door and his windows were tinted, but I could tell he had something in his hand. And I was like ducking down because I thought I was going to get shot that night. I mean, I have no idea who this dude was. And then he sped off, and, you know, the speed limit in this little area was about 35, and he just took off flying. And I was like, okay. I felt like it was getting dangerous, especially for me to just be out there alone a lot of times. Sometimes people would go with me, but, you know, it's kind of hard to find somebody to go with you in the middle of the night to go random places.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really scary. I've been pulled over so many times playing it.
Have you?
Well, I'll already be stopped, but then police roll up all the time. I think I got one on video. It was so funny. Like I'm just busting out laughing. He's like, "Are you over here?" You know, he thought I was doing drugs or something. You know, and I'm like, "No, I'm filming for YouTube. We're talking to dead people." And he was like, "Okay, carry on. I don't want nothing to do with this."
Oh my God! All I got to say is I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah,
I'm just YouTubing.
He pulled me over again about 20 minutes later and was like, "Hey, can you go ahead and do you have a card?" He's like, "I'm going to tell my wife about this, and we'll
He pulled you over. He pulled you over again?
Yes, just ask my channel name.
Oh my God! Just hand him a sticker or a card or something next time. Just hey,
Yeah.
look me up on Facebook. Take a sticker, okay? That is too funny. Oh my gosh. Well, it can be. I've watched videos on YouTube and stuff, and it does. And on TikTok, it looks really scary because a lot of times people will go to these places out in the woods and stuff, and there'll be people watching them, or there'll be blood splatter, and there'll be like some people have found bodies and stuff, and so I can imagine it's a little scary. But see, you talk to the dead all the time, right? It's kind of yes, you are a medium. And so I can imagine, and I watch some of your videos. You're always you've got your devices where you can actually hear voices, like ITC devices and things like that, which is really cool. Actually, I find that really neat.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, you could always do like rando in the daytime and just kind of get a feel for it. But like when I would go film, for me to get like one or two locations, sometimes I'd film for 3 hours, you know, and it would be just duds or places that were no trespassing. That, you know, I'm not going to trespass anywhere for a video. I mean, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to jail over it. But sometimes they're just all hits, and a lot of times you'll play it for hours, and you're like, "Am I ever going to get anything?" You know, but you eventually do.
Yeah. Well, it's like cryptid hunting, like cryptid investigating, like I do. It's like the majority of the time it's boring out there. There's nothing going on. You know, we're just out there sitting in the woods in the dark with nothing happening. But then for those small percentage of the time, there's a lot of action out there. And so it's all a matter of just hit or miss, basically.
So the mountain where the Gugway are around here, you've got to go see this place. Like it's active 24/7.
Oh yeah,
you get things thrown at you. You know, the growling, hearing something like following you. Like if there's a trail, so you can hear them in the woods following you. There was one instance where an owl flew down and almost hit me in the face.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of owls there. This place is so haunted.
So, you know, that's one of the criteria for like where my teams go out and do our cryptid field research is haunted woods, haunted areas, like places where there's a lot of local legend and lore. And a lot of times, like our most active places, the guys found it because there was a ghost road there or something like that. Like some kind of ghost was seen like carrying a lantern around, and we're like, well, let's just go check this place out, you know? And it ended up being full of, you name it, portals and ETs and Bigfoot and everything.
Yeah, those are the fun places.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like those places. We definitely need to do some investigating soon. That would be interesting.
Yeah, we do.
I can imagine the stuff we'd
Yes,
get stored up though.
absolutely. I know. It would be absolutely crazy if you and I got together because I feel like it's not just the land, it's the people that go
Yes.
there. It's definitely the
Mhm.
people, not just the land.
Yeah, it's an energy exchange because there's times I've seen people go into places that I know 100% there's like 40 dead people when you walk in and they're like, we didn't hear anything, we didn't see anything. If you're with people that are negative, having a bad day, sometimes we can't help that, or just at a low point in their life, their consciousness, their energy is going to be a very low level. And when you contact beings like this, you need to be up here, and that's just how it is. You have to have that higher consciousness.
Yeah, you gotta have that high vibe tribe going on.
Absolutely.
And I'm not always high vibe, but I'm like 95% of the time I'm pretty high vibe. I like to think
Yeah.
that. 95.
Same.
95 out of 100.
It's work sometimes.
Yeah, I think it does. And also being psychically switched on too is something that we've discovered really gets you in tune with all the elements out there and all of the cryptids, and you get more experiences with them. Like you get on that frequency with them, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like the dead people, the cryptids, they can tell who can pick up on them and who can't. So
They see, they're like this. Like I
yeah,
see you.
it's like this. Yeah, they can see us. Like
Yeah.
they know.
We're bright. We're bright and shiny out there. For sure. And yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, let's go back to that Gugway that you were talking about. Okay, because Gugways are one of the more dangerous types of Bigfoot there are out there. Could be kind of mixed matched with like dogman sightings a little bit because they're very dangerous. Now, tell me about this Gugway encounter and tell me, because I know it's on your TikTok too. Tell me about the encounter. How did you know it was a Gugway and what happened?
I mean, it started out with like this one area I wanted to film at. You can't stay the night here because it's on the back end of a park. So, but it's there's a trail that goes all through the woods, and it's just super creepy, very steep, and I could immediately like the first time I was there at night, I felt these things. I could see them. It was like they were huge. I mean, 6-7 feet tall, and these teeth that just were like almost like what you think of a werewolf type thing, but and I was like, this can't be like the hairy man. This is different. These ones are not. They don't want to connect like they do. I've never had a bad experience with a Bigfoot, so I know some people have, but I never have. But these ones were like, get the hell out of here. I don't want you here. Like it was just negative, and things would get thrown at us. I have a friend, Tammy, who goes with me sometimes at night, and she goes there with me a lot. And she's heard the footsteps. She's gotten things thrown at her. And you just don't feel welcome. It's like you just feel like you're in that fight or flight mode all the time. So what happened is, and how we figured out what they were, is I messaged Connor Flynn.
Connor, that's Bigfoot and all.
And I'm like, he probably thought I was crazy
Connor.
because I'm like sending him this message, and I'm like, okay, these things look like a Bigfoot, but their heads are a little different, and they're like really angry. They're mean, but they're a Bigfoot, kind of, but not really. And he was like asking me questions like about him, about what I saw, and he's like, okay, look into the Gugway because that sounds like that's what it is. It's kind of like how you can have poodles and labs. There's just a different type of them.
Yes,
but these ones
will eat you.
Yes,
these will eat you.
Territorial. And I still go when I go there. Even like I went there. It's been a few months because I've had a lot of surgeries. I haven't really been out in the field for a couple months. But I'll sit and talk to him, and I'm like, hey, you don't have to be my best friend, but can we just chat? Like, can you just let me come up and like experience you all? I'm not gonna hurt you guys. And they'll just start throwing stuff again or growling at me. I'm trying, but like I may need to bring him something to eat. I don't know what to do.
No, they know that you play Randonautica and you ain't scared. That's what that is. That's what that is. They're like, let's get her out of here. She's not going to leave unless we throw stuff at her. Okay. That could be it. Oh my gosh. That is wild, Amber. Okay, so I haven't talked to Connor in a long time. How's Connor doing?
He's doing good. I actually talked to him
He's good.
today. He was on a episode on HBO Max series, so I watched that. I remember him posting it, so I messaged him to see which one it was, and I watched that one.
Oh yeah.
I don't watch much TV unless there's like, obviously I did for that, but I stay away from TV.
I do too. I'm on YouTube quite a bit, but I have not seen that yet, but I've seen parts of it because they were posting it on social media. So shout out to Connor Flynn. What's up, Connor? Holler at me. Come on my show sometime again. Okay. I think that he was one of my first guests ever on Spaced Out Radio, I think, if I can remember. He's one of my first. So, and maybe here too. But anyways.
Yeah, well, that's the first live I was ever on with Steve Stockton. We were on his show a long time ago.
Oh my God, I love Steve too. What's up, Steve? Shout out to Steve Stockton, y'all. But man, okay. Well, I'm glad you got people that you can call, like get good advice on these things with, because you do run into a lot of strange things out in the woods of West Virginia. You guys have one of the biggest concentration of wild and wacky cryptids in West Virginia, including, let's see, like Mothman. Have you ever had a Mothman encounter?
Yes, I've channeled him before. And I went to the bunkers, which is not. It's in the same area. Like it's a wide area where people had the encounters back in the day. The TNT bunkers, the munitions bunkers are not in use now. You can go into them. I went and at night, I think I've only been like once at night, which is crazy. It's about a little over an hour drive for me, hour and a half. But it was creepy. Not only does everything echo inside of those bunkers, they're hidden. And somebody decided to go put reflecting red eyes on all the trees there. So I wasn't aware of that when I went the last time. I'm like, holy crap, what are y'all doing? But we kept hearing people. And I heard a man outside of the bunker. And he was like, I think they're in there. I didn't see anybody physically. Sometimes dead people will talk like that too. And audibly where you can hear them. But I was so far from the car. And, you know, when I hear people like that, I don't want to put myself in a situation to end up on the missing 411 or in any kind of negative situation. So we left. I do need to go back, but I think I need to take a group of people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, that's interesting because, you know, like I'm kind of stuck in between worlds myself when it comes to some of the experiences that I've had. You hear voices and it's a lot of times, I mean, I've heard my own voice out in the woods before. Okay. Which was one of the wildest things. It took me weeks to realize that was my voice. Okay. Like it was so unfamiliar grounds for me. I didn't even think that was my voice until it was in my head for so long. I was like, that was me. But you hear people talking, and like in my case, like in your case too, like sometimes it's like hard to decipher. Is this a 3D physical person out here, or am I hearing this, you know, from a higher perspective? Let's just say, like, is it a like a disembodied voice? Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. Is that how you feel?
Yes. There's been times also, which I don't know if you've ever experienced this, like if you film any of your experiences like that, but there's times I could be talking to the camera and I will look off. Like when I'm editing, I'll see this stuff and I'll just start talking to somebody, or somebody will like kind of jump in me and talk through me, and I'll say some really weird stuff. And then I'll be like, okay, and just keep on going back with my conversation. And I don't like that. It used to happen a lot to me. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but they're sneaky.
They're sneaky. You know what? I love one of my favorite videos of you on YouTube actually is the one where there was a ghost that walked past you and you have it on camera.
I was like,
it's wild. Do you want to show? Can I show that?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Let me see if now give us the play-by-play. I'm going to try to share my screen here. My computer I'm all glitchy tonight because
this was on a haunted ghost ship. So it was used in one of the world wars as a or some kind of war, and I can't remember. It's been a couple years ago, but it was used as like a medical where they would take people that were injured. And what's funny is when I was first walking down the ramp, because the boat sits in the water, you know, and or the ship, whatever you want to call it, it sits in the water. And I said, there's a lady in the window and she's really curious and she's trying to connect with us. And then she finally did. And you can mute it if you need to, because I think it's just I don't
Hold on.
I know
It might take me one second.
we'll get it, strikes.
Okay. No, it's fine. I'm not too worried about that. When I'm showing things on TikTok, it normally is fine, but it depends. Okay. Let's see. On this haunted ship. Here we go. Let's play this one. Let me take a second here. Oh yeah, you're talking about the music.
Yeah.
There's a woman walking past you right there, Amber. That is
she's got,
crazy.
like, long reddish hair, and you can even see her split ends, and she's wearing like it looks like some type of long jacket or something.
Oh my gosh, that is so wild.
And I thought it was just so crazy that, like, just instinctively, I just kind of moved out of the way. There was one other person on the ship with me on the other end, and it was an older lady with very, very short hair. So it was, I was by myself on that end.
And that lady looked like she had on like a white gown or something. Like it was like typical ghost casual wear. Like
it's so funny because I used to get so like annoyed by people that are like, oh, there's a lady in white here. There's everywhere I go, there's like, oh, people are telling me, hey, come and check this out. There's a lady in white. And lo and behold, like for like 3 months after that, that's all I kept seeing. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They really were just wearing white. I'm like,
oh my gosh. I think it's great that you even got that. You caught that footage. That's mind blowing. So good. That's wild. Yeah, you've gotten a lot of. You actually have another video of you from the Gugway video as well. But you guys can all go to Amber's TikTok. It's Amber's Paraworld, right? Amber's Paraworld on TikTok, all over social media, and you can check those out. My computer keeps getting a little glitchy tonight. That's the only reason I'm hesitant to play a whole bunch of them. But we do have them. Okay, so we've talked about this Gugway out there. Okay, the Mothman, that's wild. You've also had encounters with, I want to hear about the Gargoyles next. Okay, what's up with the Gargoyles? Because we're getting gargoyle sightings around the United States now, recently.
Yeah, the Gargoyles, my friend Tammy and I she knew somebody that was telling us about a crazy experience they had with dead people that looked like me and you in a cemetery. And it was a good little drive. We made it up there, talked to this lady. And then when the sun went down, we went back in, and of course on another steep hillside. So we're, walking around, and then all of a sudden it's like, I hear this flapping, and it had wings, and it was just tall and dark. And it was kind of like protecting the cemetery. It was almost, I felt like it was a protector. It wasn't trying to come after me, but it was kind of like, hey, you need to tread easy here. And it just guarded it. And since I've seen another one, and this is on the mountain across from the Gugwe, this one looked more humanish, but with wings. And it was really big. They're really big. I don't know if anybody else has ever had experience with seeing them, but they're pretty big.
Well, there's a video. I don't have it to pull up tonight, but there's a video of what looks like a gargoyle that's been going around the internet for a while. It's like up on top of a cliff or something, and people are filming from below it. And it looks like a human kind of, may have horns on its head or antlers or some kind of it looks almost kind of devilish a little bit. But it's got these wings, it's very much like a gargoyle.
Yeah, if you see it again, send it to me and I'll check it out.
I will.
And a lot of times it's like, and I'm going to jump back to the Wendigo that you were talking about on your last week or the last a couple days ago.
I have a picture of it.
I think a lot of people kind of want to, when they see things or experience things, we go to what we've been told. So it's either like they're going to say Bigfoot, ET, a Wendigo, whatever, because that's like the most common. But there are so many in between that I don't even have names for, that I know don't fit certain categories, that have yet to even be named. But sometimes I think people are seeing other things and just assuming, you get people in comments that are like, hey, that's got to be a Bigfoot. That's got to be this and that. And I did see that video, and I don't think any juvenile Bigfoot's going to stick around while somebody's hollering and shining a flashlight in their face. You know what I mean? Or climbing trees while you're just like blasting them with a camera and stuff. It's just, I don't know. I don't see that happening. It's just my experience.
No. One of the best weapons you can take out in the woods is a flashlight, they say. You turn a flashlight on and everything will run.
Yes.
It doesn't stick around. And I do have this picture from, I felt kind of bad on Thursday night. I had Robbie Rains here, and we went over this picture of this emaciated looking humanoid. I'm going to say humanoid. And they're calling this the York County Windigo. Okay. Now, do I believe that's really a Wendigo? I don't know. It kind of looks like a feral person.
Yeah.
And that's what my data said on it. Or maybe just an emaciated person or something. But that's what they're saying. So they're calling it the Big W. Is that what the one that you saw looked like?
No.
No?
It was huge. And it ran out in front of my car like a deer would. So I saw the whole thing. And it was moving very quickly. But it came from a field down near the river, and the place it went to is a cemetery, and it's on the road I live on, but it's several miles from where I live. The place it went up to, the cemetery, is a private family cemetery. I've never asked to go up there. I don't want to go up there. You probably need like a side-by-side to even access it, but it went really fast, and it had like this big hump in its back, and it was like these long skinny legs. It looked emaciated, but its body was like, if you imagine like thick, long brown hairs that you can see through, they're opaque. You can see some, it was see-through, but it had brown, like long brown hairs. It was so weird looking. And I know it knew I saw it. It had to have, because I was like right in my high beams, and I came to a stop. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I immediately heard that's a Wendigo. It never came after me. It never came back. I mean, like I said, I'm just a few miles. I think it's probably got better things to do than to worry about me. But yeah, it 100%. They're emaciated. They're big.
Here, I've got a picture. Did it look like either of things? These are like the most two common descriptions of what they look like, I guess.
So I would say it looks more like the one with the horns, but I don't recall seeing horns on this one. And the hair, I couldn't see the rib cage. It had like the long hairs flowing off of it, but they were see-through, like brown see-through. Like I could still see the road on the other side of it. Like you could see through it, but you could tell that it had hair. It was just so crazy looking.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Do you just kind of get used to seeing weird stuff living up there?
Sometimes it'll freak me out. It just depends. The dead people are the worst in a way, because if they just show me things or let me know they're there, it's one thing. But sometimes I'll turn around, at a store or a restaurant or in my yard, and there's just a full body person standing there. And I'm like, whoa, you got to warn me, say hi first, don't just jump up and scare me.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's got to be, that's just, it seems like that would be the most constant thing that you have going on, because I mean, the dead people can be in your house. But we've all seen the movie The Sixth Sense, right? Everybody's seen that pretty much. I see dead people. Well, I see dead people too sometimes. And I've seen my share, and I am not a huge fan of seeing dead people, Amber. I try to like block it out, or like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how I prevent them from getting around me. I guess it's just like putting up my energetic field, I guess, like my shields, to keep them out of, because I've got enough to deal with without them around me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like my life is crazy enough. I don't need their problems too. Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel you.
Yeah. They just show up wherever, they're just everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. You can go to Lowe's and there'll be like 3 of them, like it's not just cemeteries. It's not just funeral homes. They're everywhere.
Mm-hmm. do you see like the full bodies of people? I mean, is it like the whole range? Like you hear them talking, you see their bodies. Are they solid? Are they transparent? Is it all of the above?
Sometimes they just show me images of like, you know, and a lot of times they make me feel how they passed. But sometimes they will just stand there right in front of me. It happened at Buffalo Wild Wings a couple years ago. My daughter and her dad and I we were getting ready to eat, and this guy he's there, and he had this maroon shirt on. He had a bigger belly, and it was hanging out on the table. And I'm like, "Excuse me," and then he's just gone.
Oh my gosh!
But yeah, it just random. It's how they want to show themselves. It's their choice. You know, it's just their choice.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, Robin said that she just watched that video on your TikTok channel and it's creepy. Yes. If you go to, okay, Amber, your whole TikTok channel is creepy, full of creepy stuff. It's amazing though. It's really good stuff. Wonderful content, but it's very creepy. I mean, I was telling you earlier, you know, I have a friend of mine, my friend Bryce, actually. Everybody on my channel knows Bryce. She lives in Atlanta, not too far from where I live. And she and her boyfriend have been, we've been talking about doing a Randonautica excursion. And so Bryce was like, look, as long as you go and Todd's with us, we'll be fine. And I think that I'm the one that's most hesitant to do it, because I don't know where it's going to send us. I don't know. I'm just, oof. I think that you're braver than I am.
You might get into the first one, but you might get kind of like irritated with it too, because it's like you might do it 20 times and drive, you know, a half a tank of gas out before you find anything good. So, it's just hit or miss. Okay. But I think you should try. I mean, at least once or twice.
I might try it one time. It just depends. And so I don't know. Let's see.
Make sure you film it.
Do what?
Make sure you film it. So
film it.
That's listen back. Whether you ever show it or not, you know, you listening to it, you can hear the disembodied voices, and you can hear things, maybe footsteps or people talking that you don't actually hear when you're standing there.
Jerry wants to know, what do the dead people want from us? I think it's probably to be heard, Jerry. Probably to be heard.
Yeah. A lot of them know they're dead. Sometimes they don't realize it. It depends on what state they were in when they passed. That's kind of one thing about it I'll never understand, because a lot of times, majority of the ones who were sick or whatever, you know, they're not that way anymore, and they want their family to know that. But some of them, like I encountered one, my daughter and I were at a Mexican restaurant, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, okay, we're drinking ice water, you know, and I'm like, all right, this dude's here, and he's making me feel dizzy. He overdosed. That's what happened. But he made me feel that. And I'm with my daughter, and I'm like, you've got to back up. I mean, I was in no shape to drive, to function, to talk. I mean, it was that bad. So the waitress comes over, and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, there's this guy. To me, he was like 18 to 20. And I'm like, I feel like he overdosed. I'm like, by the way, I connect with dead people. And it ended up, it was her brother. And but it was just like, sometimes they just do that. Like, they just make you feel what they're feeling. But he was still in that state where it wasn't like, tell her I'm sorry I left. He was still trying to be in that that messed up state. And that's just, I don't know why some are like that.
Oh my gosh. That is interesting. You know, that's what, you know, my friend Barry Littleton comes on the show a good bit, and he talks about the earthbound spirits and how a lot of times, if they died having some sort of an addiction or some kind of connection to, let's just say like a person, a place, a thing, an addiction. Basically, the addictions are the worst. You know, like they'll hang out around the bars, and they will attach to people, and especially when they're super intoxicated, and make them do really bad things, he says. So that's very concerning. You know, I used to live down by the bar district in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 20 years, and I'm going to say for like 15 of those years, I lived in bar districts, basically. Okay. And I wasn't always going to bars, but I like to hang out, and it was when I was young and stuff. So, but there were some, you know, very dark things would happen at some of those places, and it was a very dark energy and pretty low vibe, actually, to be honest with you. Looking back at that, not knowing about that was before my spiritual awakening, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, it's when people are drinking, you know, getting some of my most haunted places that I lived were in those bar districts, haunted houses and stuff. Yeah.
And that's another thing. And I'll tell people that too, because like a lot of people reach out to me and they'll be like, hey, I'm experiencing this haunting, or, you know, my cabinets are closing. I feel like I have an attachment. And to be honest with you, like 100% of the time, these people either drink a lot, they're in a bad state in their life. They're like in a negative state, a lot going on in their life, whether it's drugs, drinking, just not in a good place. Their vibration is so low. I don't recall ever hearing about or even finding anyone that's like, hey, I have this negative attachment, but they have a really high consciousness. It's not going to happen. Like, I don't worry about anything like that when I go somewhere. Like, look, y'all stay here. You come home with me, you're going to be kicked out. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to watch what you allow into your body through your eyes, your mouth, your ears, you know, getting caught up in media, getting caught up in arguing and bickering and hanging around with low vibe people, or just putting yourself in the middle of it, 100% puts you at risk.
Oh yeah. And I had some attachments to me when I lived at those haunted houses. I had one like super haunted house, Amber, that I lived in right on Ponce de Leon. I talk about this occasionally. I lived right across from the Claremont Lounge. Y'all look that up. It's wild. It's wild down there. Very seedy. Back when I lived there, it was like 20 years ago. But anyways, I mean, I had a man with all black eyes that showed up at my door, ringing my doorbell in the middle of the night, and he wasn't human, Amber. He wasn't human. I came home. I had like blankets of black flies on the ceiling of the hallway that led down to my apartment two different times. Blankets, millions of black flies that were buzzing, and they were gone the next day. There was not a trace. There was a couple of dead flies on the floor. But just weird stuff, like shadows that would like dart out of my room and like knock me down, like physically hurt me and stuff.
No, we dealt with a lot of that here in this house. I know a lot of people has probably seen, like back in the day, and I'm talking like 20 years ago, that My Haunted House show or A Haunting, you know, used to be really
love those shows.
And my mom and I would always watch it, and we're like, why do these people not move? Well, when we got this house, all the rooms were painted black with 666 written in them and like upside down crosses, and I just painted over them. You know what I mean? And I'm like, we did the same thing, you know? Are you
serious?
But there was a time, and this place, there's 2 documented people buried here, but the location is undisclosed, but it's on this property. This house was built in 1850, the original part of it, so it's very old. It's seen a lot, but there was one time, like it was about 12 years ago. I was getting like tormented by an old hag and a hat man. And this is before I realized that I can just be like, hey, get the hell out, you know, and I just let it scare me. And a lot of times a lot of things did that through my entire life. But a blackbird flew into the window in the living room window. And I'm like, what is that? And it died. This is the second story. Well, about 20 minutes later, another one did it. This went on like 6 to 7 times within a couple hours. And then going downstairs by the banister, there's a window, and there were just like a dozen dead bees. And I'm like,
no,
something's got to give. That was all in like one day.
Oh my God. I would not be comfortable with that. That is crazy.
But now I've got like a ghost bodyguard, so he's cool.
A ghost bodyguard. How do you have a ghost bodyguard? Somebody from there?
I brought him home from the beach one day, a couple years ago, and he lives here.
Oh my God, that is too funny.
So if I'm like,
oh my gosh,
out somewhere or something I think is like going on in here, I'm like, Paul, make him
take care of it.
Yep. And
oh my gosh.
He's adorable. He wears like those he's from like the 40s, 50s. So he wears those little tiny red swim shorts.
Oh, cute.
Oh, yeah.
It's
funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you think that your house, I mean, it sounds like it was used for rituals and stuff like that. Do you think it was at one point?
I mean, in a way, every place is. Whether you
Okay.
think about whether it was dark magic, light magic, or magic people didn't know they were doing, even just hosting a birthday party in your house is a form of magic. So
I was about to say that. I saw it like you had a post on Instagram or TikTok and it was like witchcraft in everyday life, basically. And it
yeah,
was like it was like singing happy birthday and lighting candles is one of them. And I thought, man,
rosary
that's
runs,
true.
knock on wood, the way people sweep. I mean, there's so much of it. And it's always the same people, at least in my experience, that tell me that I'm like doing Satan's work or something like that, that
Oh
are
yeah.
still
We've
doing
all
this.
been called
I'm like,
witches.
that's the pot calling the kettle black, y'all, I mean,
Mhm.
just because you don't want
Brushing your
to,
teeth. Girl, brushing your teeth is a ritual. Okay. So you get up and do it every
the
morning.
tooth
You do it
fairy,
before
they
bed.
put a bone
Most
for
of
a
us do.
fairy. That's making offerings to Fae for like letting your child make offerings to Fae.
What?
So
Leaving the tooth out for the tooth fairy?
yes, you're leaving a bone for the Fae. It's an offering, it's an exchange. So you're getting that started really early.
Oh my gosh. I never thought of it like that, but that's right. The little fairies. Oh my gosh. That is wild. Okay, well, and I always tell people too, it's like, when we moved when I was a kid, we moved, my parents got a divorce and we moved to a town from the country. And one of the only requirement, I'm gonna say like the only requirement I had was no one could have died in the house that we were gonna buy. I did not want to live in a house where people had died. And so my mom like made she made sure to ask the realtors that no one had died in the houses that we were looking at. And the
That's
house we ended up in was like 150 years old, but they claimed nobody had died in it. And I believe that, but I have seen a ghost in my mom's house before. I did. So and it was an old lady. I thought it was my mom, and it was not my mom. Okay, so we
you know,
really don't know.
people will like even if somebody's just like thinking, or maybe they watch a movie and they think about how Aunt Beatrice used to love this movie and they're thinking about him, you're calling on that energy to be with you right now. So if you hear somebody bang into the door or something, while a lot of people don't put two and two together, that you were just calling on their energy. Because a lot of times I'll get people that are like, hey, my cabinets are slamming, there's knocks on my door, and then I'll just see images of like one instance, and this really happened. It was her mom on a walker. I'm like, I see this elderly lady on a walker. She keeps hitting the door. She's like, my mom used to run into the door all the time. I never thought about that. And she'd been going through their photo album lately. So, sometimes it's not just a negative thing. Sometimes we're actually calling on these people, and that's what we're experiencing.
Oh my god. Yeah, I have to be very careful about what I think because
Mhm.
I know how powerful my mind is, and I know, we all have very powerful minds, but I know that I can manifest something in a second,
That's the
and
way my
and
daughter is.
yeah, it's like you think it, you have to keep your thoughts good,
Hmm.
otherwise, even the things that we watch.
Hmm.
I've spoken before about how I used to watch that first 48 show about the homicides.
Hmm.
And I watched them until the week that they showed up at my front doorstep, literally. And I felt like I was watching it so much that it showed up on my street. And they literally, and what I mean by that, they were filming. There was a homicide indicator where I used to live on my street, and they were out there filming for that TV show. And I thought, oh wow, I have manifested this. And
That's
so
wild, isn't it?
I quit watching it. Yeah, I had to quit watching it because I was like, you know what? I brought that to my doorstep. I I felt like I consciously knew that I did. Not that I didn't cause that death and all that, so I'm not saying that, but like
Right.
I brought it to me in some weird way.
Hmm. You were like,
Yeah,
okay, that's enough. A
I'm done.
little too close for comfort, huh?
Screw this. Yeah. So yeah, it was the same like well, and it's the same with like watching those ghost shows.
Hmm.
I actually one of the last times I ever watched my favorite ghost show, Ghost Adventures. Okay. Um, they were like doing that Goatman's Bridge episode, and and Jay or somebody had taken out a book and was chanting and doing a ritual. They were trying to conjure the goat man, and that ritual was coming through my speakers on my television in my living room. And I knew inherently to shut it off. I don't think I shut off the whole show because I was curious, but I muted my TV.
That's exactly what we
'Cause I
do. If
need
there's any type of like a language, and I know it's like in a negative way, or
yeah,
chant rituals in movies, songs, it's off. We mute
yeah.
it. I'm not listening to it.
Why do you suppose they do that on TV shows and, like, because the people who, they know what it's doing. It's casting a spell into all the homes and
Mhm.
across the world. I mean,
It's mind
do you think
control.
there's an agenda or something?
Absolutely. It's just kind of like, if you're aware, a lot of people have heard like a lot of celebrities are kind of like repurposed. Um,
Mhm.
you can look at pictures from the 1800s and you can see some of the same people. I actually had a download from Spirit not too long ago, and I was given the reference Freaky Friday that they jump into other bodies. They can just jump and they go back and forth and jump into bodies. 1000%. I trust my intuition. I trust what I'm told. And you can see it. And, when they go to these concerts and people are singing their songs, the megahertz is not where it needs to be for our vibration. It puts you on a lower and brings you down. And then you have
Yeah.
thousands of people chanting this craziness, and it's feeding them. It's all ritualism, all of it.
You just brought up recycled celebrities, and I've been talking about that for so long. I love it. I do shows on those all the time. I'll even throw in a new recycled celebrity every now and then on a show that has nothing to do with it. I am fascinated by it, Amber. Um, I think that they're vampires too. I think there's vampires. I think there's some people think fallen angels.
Lizards.
But yeah, the body swapping is a big thing. I mean, they've got that technology now to like swap consciousnesses from one
Yeah.
body to the next and all that. So I think that's fascinating. I hope it never happens to me. I don't want to live forever. I don't know about you. I don't want to stay here.
Be destroyed. So,
Yeah.
I came to this. I've been thinking a lot about that because I'm like, I want to be done with Earth. Earth sucks. I mean, I know I
Yeah,
love my
me too.
family. I love, being here right now, but it's like in the long run of it, everything repeats itself. I had a vision of two women talking in this beautiful living room. It was about 1938, and they were like, we know what's going on. We know there's like these conspiracies going on. And it's going to get better. I think it's going to get better in a few years. And it's the same thing we do now. It just repeats itself. It's like we're just in this hamster wheel, just going back, over and over and over. But I had this thought came to me, and I'm like, what if when people go to the light, that light just pops you right back out into the, you know what I mean? It's like they tell us that's where we need to go, just so they can keep reusing us, if that makes sense.
Yes, because we're slaves to the matrix, to the system, And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore, but I do feel like I've been here many times before, and I will know exactly what to do when my time comes.
And then
Go to the light or not, I don't know.
for this crap again, and then we just keep
Yeah.
going. It's exhausting.
It is. Well, I don't, I try not to sit around and worry about it too much because, like I said, I feel like I've been here before, and I'll know what to do. Well, maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's why I keep coming back because I keep doing something wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
It's so wild. Like, I want to be like somewhere else. Like, there's got to be something different. And there's so many hidden places. Like, we're lied to so much. We're lied to about like where things are located on maps. I've been told that too many times by Spirit that like, hey,
Yes.
this is really close. You don't have to go that far to get to this location. They just make you think you do.
We can portal. We can just
Yeah.
portal anywhere we want. If they just show us where the portals are, we got to find them. Okay. We should do, one day there's going to be a portal app, and we're going to be like, not only finding, like, our GPS is not only going to say, do you want to go by bicycle, by foot, by vehicle, or do you want to take a portal? We can pick a portal and it'll take us to the portals. I'm convinced it'll happen within the next 5 to 10 years. Okay. Y'all can quote me on that. Okay. We're going to add portals to our GPS at some point. Okay.
I mean, if it can take me to some sand and some hot sun and a drink and a coconut
You're good.
during a snowstorm,
Right.
I'm there. I'll try it.
Oh my God. Me too. I'm there with you, girl. Yeah, I want to portal to West Virginia though, and come up there and do some Bigfooting. See, I'm down in the very southern tip of the Appalachians, and you're right there in the heart of the Appalachians. And I know y'all got secrets y'all won't ever tell anybody. I brought some of my friends from North Carolina on, and I've asked each of those guys, what are these secrets that y'all don't talk about? and I never get an answer.
You
Where
know,
I?
if you go on TikTok, especially, there'll always be these posts of people that don't live around here, and they'll be like, if you hear your name, no, you didn't. If something chases you,
No,
don't
you
run.
didn't.
That is irrelevant. They do that for a spook factor. Most of it's irrelevant. It's just a scare tactic.
Yeah.
I'm in these woods all the time at night. The most dangerous thing I've really ran into is just random twitchy humans. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
asking for a ride or showing up,
Yeah.
stalking, like following us. I don't feel comfortable in any location when that happens. And I'd rather be alone or just my group, who I'm with.
Mhm.
But yeah, humans are the worst.
Well, speaking of like twitchy humans, I don't know if these are twitchy, but you have at some point encountered what you believe is a vampire cult. Are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah,
I would love to hear about this.
So this happened at the end of was it last summer? The end of last summer, I was invited to be a guest speaker at an event. And then I had my table set up and I did some readings and all that stuff. It was a great time. It was, I did so many readings. I had a line down to the end of the street for a while. It was great.
Wow.
I think I may have accidentally assisted in a marriage breaking up because of a reading, but it's, if spirit wants somebody to know something, I'm going to tell them. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If your man cheats, spirit tells me, I'm going to tell you.
Girl, I usually recommend. I've had couples that have wanted to get readings with me before, and I'm like, hey, you might want to do these separate. I'm just saying. Yeah,
right?
it is. It's I know what's up. I know what happens. The cards don't lie.
But my mom was with me and my daughter, and we had noticed that a few of the people just seemed different, like strange, right? Like they just a different vibe. And throughout the day, we'd see a couple of people, the same person a lot. One guy in particularly a lot. He looked like he belonged in, what is that movie? The
Twilight?
No, back in the day.
Lost Boys?
Yes. He looked like he was from there.
Those were the good looking vampires. Okay. Like Twilight, they're way more glittery and sparkly.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the 90s version or 80s, whenever that was. Yeah. Kiefer Sutherland?
Yeah. And then the nighttime came, I packed up, the motel there, the only one within 30 minutes is a whole different story because this place is creepy too. So I go back out because we're supposed to be like helping host these tours. There's a few places, houses, different locations that you can walk to, which it was a really long walk. But every single place had so much sage burning. And I'm like, if you're trying to like really connect, why are you doing this? It was just strange. You could smell sage for blocks. And it was just tons of it in each of these locations burning it. And then after we'd walked around a while, it was really crowded. So we really didn't get to stay in any one place very long. Our legs were all hurting. So we're walking back down this main road because it's not too far from where we parked at. And there's this little shop. So we go in. And it was me, my daughter, and one of my other friends and her boyfriend. We go in and there's a few things there, some things for sale, but it wasn't enough to keep this place running. In my opinion, it was little $3 trinkets, but there wasn't a lot of it. I don't know how this place is staying in business. I don't even know the name of this place. But that one guy that I'd been seeing all day was behind the counter. This lady comes up to me and she's like, talking to me and asking me if I had a good time. I don't know who she was, but she knew who I was. And she's like, she's like really close to me. And then not even 10, 15 minutes later, she does it again. It's like, we didn't just have this conversation. And then she wants me to talk to her husband or this guy that runs the place. He was very much intoxicated. Very, very nice though. And he was just talking about some stuff and I'm just listening, I'm just trying to like look for my exit, and then the guy behind the counter, I look over at him and he goes like this and I saw the fangs.
No way.
And I think he already knew that I knew something. I mean, he obviously knew something. I knew something was up. And I'm like,
Fangs. Like, were they real?
Yeah, we need to leave.
Real teeth?
Yeah, because they would just instantly were gone. And then he didn't say anything. He wasn't like, "Hey, how are you all?" Like, he didn't say anything. And then, but that guy then he started telling me about that they used to have experiences in the basement, and the basement was kind of like, it used to be a morgue and all this stuff. So there's like some stuff going on down there. Some of the equipment was still left there. So I'm like, why do you guys need equipment to remove blood? It's still in there right now.
Or like, come down here and look when there's plastic all over the floor and the walls. Come on.
And then the next day, you know, after all this, we get up pretty early. I'm like, I need to get back home. This is a couple hours away from me. And we're leaving, and I go really slow. I pass where I parked at, and I go so slow, and I couldn't find it. There's a bunch of old buildings down the street, and most of them you couldn't get into. But I didn't see it. And that doesn't mean it wasn't there. Maybe I just missed it, but I didn't see it. And I'm not going back.
Okay. Let's go back to his teeth again. I have a question, because you said they just disappeared. What do you mean? Like they became fangs and then they went back in? Like there were no fangs. There's fangs
like,
and no fangs.
And then popped him back in. He was like,
they were retractable, like naturally.
Oh yeah, they were. He was 100% a vampire. 100% fangs and all.
Ooh. Okay, I love this kind of stuff. Right. And
so I know I don't feel safe going back. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would see. I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they're going to hurt me, but I don't want to be in that position to have to embarrass some dude in front of his friends.
Oh my God. You know what I mean? Well, okay. So do you think that there's like a whole group of them? Like it's, you said maybe like a cult. I mean, because we do have like underground vampire cults all over the United States. And they talk about like Austin has one, Atlanta's supposed to have one, New York's got one. They got these cannibal clubs. I'm not saying vampires and cannibals are the same, but maybe they are. I don't know. But do you think it could have been, because this is in like West Virginia, right?
Yeah, so, I had no idea. I mean, that was even here. I mean, I know it's a possibility, you know, but I've never experienced one, and I've been to so many places, and that's the first time I've ever seen that. So, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and it's just, it shocked me, I guess. And I just, he was
trying to see if you were down to like get a bite on your neck that night. That's what that was. Probably. He was testing the waters, Amber.
Yeah.
He was testing the water.
And it's just so strange that I'd seen him on and off the whole day, and he'd just stare, like he would walk by and look, but he never said anything ever. Even that in there, he didn't speak. He was just by himself behind the counter. I mean, like I said earlier, that we had a great time. Like there was a lot of nice people. I did a lot of readings, but when the sun went down, they all came out, and it was just it made me feel so uneasy. And then we even, like this hotel we stayed at, motel, it's a motel. There was a stairwell in the middle of the parking lot going underground. And we were kind of like, what is this? I've never seen this. There's only rooms on the top, you know? So after we pondered this a little bit, before I left, I went down there, and I'm like, I've got to check it out, because I was outside talking to my friend and her boyfriend till about 2 a.m. Because I hadn't seen her for a while, but we're just outside walking around to chit chatting, right? And I'm like, did you guys think that was weird in that place? Did you guys get a bad vibe? You know, I'm asking them all these questions because of what I felt at the shop. And they're like, yeah, we wanted out of there. But then we see this SUV pull up, this really nice one. This guy gets out in a suit and tie, like 1:32 a.m. He has a lot of boxes in his hand, like something prepackaged, you know, and he goes down those steps and never came back out. So his vehicle was still there the next day. So I went down there, and there's a door that I couldn't open, and it has a big sign on it that says boiler room, something or other, no admittance or something.
But that man went down there with all his boxes that night. Yeah, you know, New Orleans has a history of vampires and stuff. And my good friend Matthew Delph was down there. I think that he said, if I remember correctly, he was talking about how he was walking down the street late at night after he'd been to some vampire bar or something. And he said some man pulled up and rolled the window down and asked him for something lewd. Is lewd the word? I guess that's the word. Yeah. Something that was not appropriate. And And I believe he asked, I want to say that Matthew said he asked him for a quarter or $1 or something like that. And it was just weird. Matt was like, yeah, he handed him the exact amount he asked for, I think. And I don't know. I'll have to get Matthew to talk about that again because I don't recall the exact story. But there are rules to these things, okay? And they live by a set of rules and laws and stuff. These vampires do, apparently.
Yeah,
And,
I don't know that I want to delve more into that. Maybe, but I've never been to Louisiana. I want to go. I know there's a lot of that stuff there. I want to kind of go feel it out. But I know that's probably dangerous for someone who, like me especially, who wants to go in there and I know these things, and then they know I know these things, and then it's an awkward situation.
It's dangerous. It's a very dangerous. Do not play Randonautica in New Orleans, Amber. No. Okay. Don't do that.
I do want to go to the swamps though, where like they have like the bones hanging and all the brick dust. I would like to go check some of those little shops out.
Oh my God, it would be fun. I'm supposed to take a trip down there at some point in the near future. I
got weird tingles all over my head when I said that.
Did you? That means that you're meant to go.
I know.
Maybe you can meet us down there. Yeah, we're going. Yeah, I'm going to go meet Matthew Delph down there and Dr. John Stamey. We're planning on going. But I want to go hunt werewolves. So just kidding. Not hunt. I don't mean hunt, y'all. I don't mean hunt. I mean investigate. Okay. I'm not going to hurt anything.
We were, I don't know if it was Randonautica or not. It might have been, but it was also near the holler I live in. But one night during a blood moon a couple years ago, my daughter and I heard the werewolves, like, and you could tell it wasn't a dog. You could tell it wasn't a coyote. I know what they sound like. We have a ton of them here. And it was just so weird. And I had Spirit Talker or what's the other one I use sometimes? No, I don't know. One of those apps on, and it was like, run, get out of there. And I didn't hear it audibly until I listened back because I was filming it. And they were telling me I needed to leave like immediately, like get out of here. You're not safe. So it's pretty bad when the spirits are like, hey, you need to leave. And I'm just
probably Paul,
sitting here trying to see what I can hear.
It's probably Paul in his red underwear or his red swimsuit. Isn't that his name?
Paul.
The guy that takes care of you. Yeah. It's probably him. I don't know. At least you have spirits that watch your back. And speaking of people that watch my back too, I have to thank some of the people who've given some super stickers tonight so far. Kent Baxter, thank you so much. He says, hi, Jessica. Good high vibes on the Cryptid Huntress tonight. Thank you so much, Kent. I appreciate you. And this is one of my teammates, a fellow remote viewer, by the way. This is Susan. What's up, Miss Susan Fuller? I love this conversation. You and Amber are a great combo, sending in loving memory of my friend B. Oh, thank you, Susan, so much. I appreciate you being here tonight. And yeah, I just want to thank y'all for that. But yeah, Susan goes out and hunts Bigfoots and stuff with me too. She's an investigator researcher as well with me. And she's had some harrowing experiences out in the field up in North Georgia before, but never any vampires. Never any. I think vampires are so popular right now. I don't know. I'm not saying they haven't always been popular, but I mean, they're kind of a big thing. I mean, there's actually a girl that I like to follow I watched some tarot channels and stuff on YouTube. Sometimes there's one girl, she just had some fangs permanently implanted into her mouth. They're like permanent fangs. And she's the cutest chick, but now she's got fangs. I'm wondering, how do you eat like that? I don't know. Unless you're just eating blood.
I mean, it's kind of like, these people think it's all fun and games until you really experience it, because a lot of people don't really believe it. You know what I mean? If you think you saw it, or even if it sounds something crazy, most likely that is what happened. We have to trust ourselves and quit telling ourselves that we didn't hear it. We didn't see it. It was the house settling. It was the wind, we can tell the difference.
I mean, I'm sure there's a real vampire that would go bite her neck if she really wanted to be a vampire. It would have saved her some money on those,
a lot of money,
implants. Yeah, probably. I can't imagine how expensive that is. I think she got sponsored by somebody to do that, but I would not do that. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I like werewolves. If I had to pick werewolves or vampires, I'd probably go with werewolf. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to shave more often, probably, but anyway,
little gnome looking things aren't too bad. I mean,
gnomes, you'd be a gnome. You would be I like that. You've actually had a gnome experience. I want to hear about that tonight.
I don't know if he's like really a gnome, or he kind of looks like like Gollum? Is it Gollum?
My precious.
Yeah,
Precious.
sort of like that. He was about, well, you can't really see. He was, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet tall tops.
Oh
And we
gosh.
were at someone's house outside late at night, just talking about different creepy things. And there's about, I don't know, I'd say 60 feet of yard, like mowed part, and then it's just the mountains, right? And this little thing comes, like I see this blur coming, and he's like running, like, I mean, to a blur, stops right beside me, looks at me, and he's like, and then he just ran off in the woods. Big pointy sharp teeth, but he was this little thing, and he was naked, just all skin.
Naked?
Yes, not
Bucky naked?
Buck naked. But he just like showed me his teeth and was like big old eyes, and he ran, and he was gone like in a second.
It was definitely a boy. You could tell.
I mean, I don't think that.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, it just like, what? Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Like, I guess he was just trying to scare me, but it didn't work. But it was just so random, just random.
That is true. That is really cool. I'm not trying to be funny about that. I was just kidding.
Yeah,
but
that was a cool experience. I will never forget that.
That is so wild. I mean, listen,
I'd say there is some type of fae, because like I think, like, even like he said, leprechauns, fae, gnome, they're all in the same family. Some can be really tall, some are really little. It just depends on what they are.
You know what? I just had a flashback memory too. First of all, I want to say thank you real quick to Elise Tanner. Thank you for that super sticker, Elise. I appreciate your support so much. When I was a little kid, I used to love spending the night. This is a two-pronged story. Okay. I used to love spending the night with my grandparents on my mom's side. Well, I love spending the night with all my grandparents, right? But this is this side of the family. And I would go to their house, and we'd get up on a Saturday morning, and they would take me to McDonald's every time. And I would drink coffee. They'd let me, I was tiny, and they would let me, my grandmother would give me a little creamer cup and from Mickey D's, and she'd pour a little coffee in it, and I'd drink it, and I thought I was drinking coffee. And then she would take me to this place called Hobbit's Hollow. And that was like the toy store in town. And I was obsessed with little hobbits and stuff. I loved that. And fairies and stuff when I was a kid. But also when I'd spend the night at their house, my grandfather would knock on the wall in the middle of the night. He'd come up to the bedroom where I was staying, and he'd get on the other side. He'd start saying, "Help, let me out, let me out." And I was like, and it would scare me to death, because he'd ask me the next day, he said, "Did you hear the little boy in the wall last night? We have a little boy who lives in our walls, a little person, basically, lived in his walls." So that's how I grew up scared as heck, y'all. Okay, this is why I'm tough today, because my family. Oh, not to mention Rawhead and Bloody Bones out in the backyard, and Mad Maud on the other side of the yard. Okay, but anyways, that's how I grew up. That was my childhood. Okay, dealing with imaginary little people and stuff, harassing me as a kid. But anyways, that's really cool. And I've never heard of one with sharp teeth before. That is terrifying, Amber. Naked with sharp teeth.
A little thing. I'm thinking, like, what's he think he's going to do? I could just pick him up. He'd just be kicking. You know what I mean?
Oh God, that's like the last thing I ever want to run into.
Yeah, but I love it. There's so much everywhere I go. I mean, even when I go out of state and travel for events, there's just so many things, to experience everywhere. Not just Appalachia, but there's just a lot of stuff.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what do you think? Why do you think there's so much there? Do you think it's because of the Appalachians? Do you think it's because it's so ancient? Do you think there's maybe portals or dimensions overlapping? Like, what is your opinion of all that?
All of it.
All of it?
I know my daughter and I have had this conversation several times, but where we go to our doctor is like 2 hours away, and we go there because we love this lady. So we drive like really far away to go see her, and she's still in West Virginia. And we'll go past these mountains, and we know there's pyramids underneath them. We know it. Like, we can feel it. You can, it's all brick. It's all like, sometimes they'll be bare on a part of it, and it's like, that's not what's under my dirt here. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's different things. So there's definitely energy. There's a lot of hidden things. It's ancient. Look how many people have passed through and passed away, and it's just energy upon energy, just layers and layers. Oh yeah, there's tree people there too. We see these tree people. I need to get some videos of them. The last time we went, it was winter, of course. It was like the week before January, and they weren't there, but they did tell me they're going to be back. They're just kind of like resting, but you can see full on faces in them. They're really cool.
Oh my God. I just did a show this week on stick Indians, and they're almost like elementals, like, I don't know if you want to call them tricksters or some kind of like forest people. They're mostly, they say they're in the Pacific Northwest, but I would say that we've got stuff like that in the Appalachians too. You know, I think they're out here too. And it's like, it's kind of is like stick people. So it could be. I mean, they're described as being more like gnomes or puckwudgies. Sometimes they're described as being like Bigfoot. So it just kind of depends. But some of them are described as having like branches for arms and legs, like tree branches and stuff.
I mean, everything has that same life force energy in it that you and I have. The trees, you can communicate with them. Flowers, everything has that in them. So, I mean, forests are very much alive. The grass, everything we touch, we just have to be on that level to where we appreciate it and we understand it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Respect. That's the big thing. Respect. And it's respect for us, having respect for whatever's out there, and it having respect for us back, so it doesn't eat us. Just don't eat me. Okay. You can scare me a little bit. That's fine. Don't eat me. That's all I'm asking.
See, that's what I say. I'm like, I like that feeling of like kind of getting scared and been out in the woods, and it's a rush, or going to a haunted location, asylum or somewhere. I like it. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I like it. But I don't want to be like, if you try to hurt me, that's where I draw the line. We're not doing that. You keep yourself.
Yeah, it gets addicting actually going out there. I mean, I'm always out in the woods. I try to get out there as much as I can, and I got plenty of trips planned this year already, getting back out there, because it is, like I said, it's addicting, and maybe it is an adrenaline rush. I don't know.
For me, 100%. It's like it gives you that fix that your brain needs to, like. Well, for me, like I said, I have ADHD, and that's how I cope with it.
Oh yeah. Well, what's up, war criminal? Matt's in the house. Thank you for being here. And Cryptid too. I saw you in here tonight. Thank you for being here. He says Spearfinger and Wampus cats. Okay. I was going to ask you about witches, because Spearfinger is one of my favorite legends of Cherokee lore out there. And that's, I know that's more towards like North Carolina, but it's not too far from where you are. Have you encountered any witches, like legendary witches out there and stuff like that you would think would be something like that?
I mean, in Appalachia, in West Virginia, like for as long as I can remember back, like there's people in my family, people in my friend's family, that did witchcraft, and people want to look at it as negative, but there's so many Appalachian granny witches, or the white magic, the Appalachian magic, where you're making tinctures. If it wasn't for these people making homemade tinctures that people call witchcraft nowadays, they wouldn't be alive. Like, you wouldn't have survived. Your parents wouldn't be here to have you, for you to gripe about it.
That's right.
There's so much to it. I mean, how could not taking Dayquil and making you some cinnamon and clove tincture with some turmeric be such a, you're going to burn in hell for that.
Burn the stake.
Go through the big pharma, it just.
Well, then they couldn't make their money.
I know, right?
That's what it is.
Little goo jars in there. I just cleaned one out tonight and replaced it.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what it was. It smelled like cinnamon.
Oh my gosh. Good. You know what? I'll tell you one thing. Moon water will make your plants grow. Okay. It's good for you. If you know what moon water is, it's just basically putting jars of water out under the full moon, y'all. And I swear by that stuff. Yeah. I swear by it. I used to, if you have a plant that's dying, get some moon water. You can keep it, just put it in jars, keep it somewhere cold and dark. and use it to water your plants. And it brought my
We
plants back
usually
to
just
life.
pour a big glass with ice and drink it too.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it tastes way better than regular water. Yeah. There's something to it. It's charged underneath the energy of that full moon. And it just invigorates your whole body and stuff. So if that's witchcraft, okay, whatever. But I just think it's a natural remedy.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever experienced the Wampus Cat. I did go to Brown Mountain last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year I went to Brown Mountain. I had to see what the hype was, and it was terrifying. So,
yeah.
So that I think that was it was the year before last, but that was probably I think, like you said, I think it's more of a Carolina thing. But I didn't experience that there.
Yeah.
But it was not.
Brown Mountain. I'm actually going to be in North Carolina next weekend.
Are you
and we were talking about going to Brown Mountain, but then I found out it's 2 hours away from where I'm going to be, and I'm already driving a long way to get there. So probably not going to Brown Mountain next weekend. I'm only there for one evening too. I'm going to come back and have my show next weekend. I got
if you Richard drop something and leave it on Brown Mountain, you don't need to be there. I mean, that's just
really
now. Yeah.
Was it that bad?
It was. There's an overlook. We went way up. You have to drive like a mile or two up this mountain, and there's like this overlook. And there was a lot of people there at first, and then they kind of dwindled off. But my mom was sitting, we had these camp chairs out, and I had my phone set up. We're like trying to see what we can, if we can catch these orbs. And she sees this man walk in front of us, but he was like the invisible man, but she could see him. And he was a living human, cloaked.
Really?
Everybody, like checking everybody out. Like he was still alive. He wasn't dead. And he was cloaking himself. And then I started hearing that the orbs are like, they're not a natural phenomenon. They're made to draw people in. And there were these creatures there that the government put there, and they just, you have an attraction. You have something people want to come and see. And then if a few of them go missing and chalk it up to a bear eating them, oh, well, and then the next day, I think it was the next day or the day after when we were going home, I'm sitting here looking up all the missing people. Hey, are there anybody missing from Brown Mountain? And there were so many, it was unsettling. People that were never found, people that might have got them. But I saw these creatures that were being tracked, and then some of them weren't, but most of them were, and they were being controlled by some type of government people. Like they were being controlled. It's like they were using the people coming to see the orbs as like a feeding frenzy for them if they want to go snatch one off. We've definitely felt unsafe after everybody started leaving. We could hear walking in the woods coming down toward us, but you couldn't see anything. Like there was nothing there, but you could see, the footsteps were getting closer. It was just very unsettling. I felt like if we didn't leave, we were never going to make it out of there. And, of course I did a Ouija session like the next day, and I asked, I'm like, what would have happened if I would have stayed longer? Said your car would have never started. They would have never found you. So,
oh my God. Amber, I'm glad you were there.
I don't want to go back. I didn't leave anything there. I'm good.
I don't blame you. My buddy Barry Littleton, what's up? Barry's in the chat. He and our friend James Ring, rest in peace to James Ring, went there last year. I think it was just last year, if I'm not mistaken. And I wanted to pull up this map of all these missing persons clusters. Let me see if there's a cluster. Absolutely, there's a freaking cluster. Look at that, right in the middle of East Tennessee, Western North Carolina. There's a missing. This map is from 2012. Imagine how much bigger it is now.
Oh yeah,
that's a missing persons cluster right there. Where it's in North Carolina. I don't think the Brown Mountain Lights are exactly right there, but I don't know. I think that's kind of close to where I'm going.
People travel to go see them, and they're gonna those pings are going to be where maybe they were last seen, or at their home.
Yeah.
When you have people traveling, it may look a little different, but there's 100% there were. I just did not get a good feeling about it. I'm like, there's a lot of things to go on in state parks, national forest, whatever you want to call it, that are very shady. So be careful when you're there. To anybody who wants to go there and explore anywhere, all of them are shady, and I stand by that.
They are. Riley, they are. Well, I think that there's some kind of government. I think there's facilities like deep underground military bases underneath all of our national parks. That's what I think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely something something wacky going on around there. And actually Barry, who I just pulled his comment up, he tasked me with remote viewing targets occasionally, and or more than occasionally. And one of those targets, or a couple of them, were actually the missing persons clusters. Like, what happened to those people? And Amber, guess what? These are blind targets. I'm just giving it a set of numbers. The data from that, first of all, it made me sick for weeks after I did those targets because it was so intense. People were getting kidnapped. They were getting taken to an underground facility, experimented on, and then their bodies were disposed of. That was like the general consensus for that data as to where all these missing people are going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think the cryptids are working with the people who are kidnapping them and stuff too.
Some of them are, yeah. I think some of them are made to do that. Like they're trained. And it sounds wild to somebody who has never really seen that or picked up on it or experienced it. They might think that we're nuts, but it 1,000,000% happens.
Okay. Do you remember earlier today you were like, I see that picture of the Wendigo guy, and I was like, I think it's probably a feral person, according to my remote viewing data. And you're like, well, the cryptids are always getting blamed for what people do or something. And isn't that the truth?
It is.
Isn't that the truth? People get blamed, I think.
And Bigfoot takes the most of it because, I mean, could there be some aggressive ones? Absolutely. Do we have bad days? Absolutely. But I have never in my life felt threatened by one. Never felt like to where like they're going to kill me. Like I have some other things.
Right. Me neither. I've actually had a pretty good go of it so far. And I've been chasing Bigfoots and dogmen and sleeping in Bigfoot burritos out in the middle of nowhere for years. And and I've been okay so far. But I also have a good team of people around me every time I go out there. And so I feel pretty safe when I go.
And anytime, any situation where, like, say somebody goes out and they hear something and they're automatically wanting to pull a gun or, screaming at this thing and telling, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You're already setting yourself up for failure. Just be kind. Try to get energy at a good place, because if you come off aggressive, they're going to be like way more aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, there's people that I know. Look, there's no shade to anybody, but I mean, I've never pulled a weapon ever out in the field, not one time. And whenever I see like people talk about pulling their weapons and like, or I see a video of somebody like pulling their weapon at the first sign of like something running up on them, like I don't want to go in the woods with those people.
Right.
I just don't. Like, you gotta, you have to have your wits about you out there. And I think that's something that you definitely have. You are very calm in like really intense moments.
Yeah. I've ran a few times.
It's okay to run. It's okay.
Yeah.
You need to run.
Especially when you can sense it, and you just get that bad feeling. Somebody with you might be like, oh, I think I'm talking to a little girl. And you're like, no, this thing looks like melted. Like, you know what I mean? I'm out.
Yeah, it's got sharp, pointy teeth. It's gonna eat you. Yeah, I know. That would scare me. Okay, I have another one I wanted to ask you about, because you've had an encounter with is it called the West Virginia white thing?
Mm-hmm.
We have white things down here. We got the Alabama white thing. We got a white thing in North Georgia. Tell me about the West Virginia white thing.
It's also like dubbed the sheep squatch. I don't know where they come up with these. In my last book, the Appalachian motion stories, yes,
I have a little stuffy.
I put a photo of one in there in my backyard,
like
in the mountains right here, and he was climbing down a tree and he's looking right at me. So there's an actual photo of one in there in the back of that book. But I never was afraid of them. I would go up, because we used to have the goats up here on the hill. I don't have goats any longer, but like I would go way up on the hill where the goats were and just try to connect with them. And I asked, hey, can I take a picture? Sometimes they'll hang around, sometimes they won't. But needless to say, you're not always going to get photos of anything. If I had a penny for every dust orb or water droplet I've gotten sent to me, asking who that is and what face is in it, I would be a millionaire by now.
Oh my gosh, I bet.
Pledge is your best friend. My gosh. I mean, orbs can be energy, but you have to learn the pattern. If you have an outdoor camera, you can definitely see what moisture looks like, what bugs look like.
Yeah. Well, in the cryptid world, we get a lot of red circles. sent to us of blurry bushes and stuff. No shade, y'all, but y'all know I don't show that stuff on my channels if I can help it. Okay. Because it's just a lot. It's like if I don't see it, I don't show it on my channel. Yeah. That's my rule of thumb, they say. Now, I showed some that I didn't see very well? Yes, I admit it. I have. Okay. But,
and you know,
anyways,
I appreciate people actually looking for things, you know, like
yes.
And I hate to have to be the one to be like, look, there's nothing there, but sometimes there's not. And I'm not going to lie to somebody just to, you know what I mean? You're not going to get 17 pictures in a row of a ghost face. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never discount anyone's encounters or their stories. Right. You know what I mean? I never discount it, but it's just as far as like the evidence goes, like I have to be very discerning, you know, because I try to have as much integrity as possible. And I know that if I don't see it, other people are not going to see it too. And I'd rather just keep it, you know, let's just tell us your story. Let's don't look at the pictures.
Yeah, full-bodied figures, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Well, the thing about cryptids too is like they don't, even if you see it and it's plain there right in front of you, sometimes you'll take a picture, it's going to be blurry no matter what. So damned if you do, damned if you don't, Amber. That's all.
It's that energy exchange. They know what they're doing.
Yes, they will screw your camera up real good, and they might even make it burn up sometimes and get scrambled and all that. So yeah, we lose equipment, but oh yeah, back to the white thing. So you said it was like in a tree. Is that what you were saying?
It was almost at the bottom of a tree. It was coming down from a tree. It did not look like a sheep squatch to me. It had horns and it was white. But I didn't feel threatened from it. And it didn't really communicate anything other than like I felt almost like a peaceful feeling, you know. I think in certain areas they feel safe and they know we're not going to hurt them. But that's the only time I've ever seen it.
What kind of horns? Like goat horns or something? Kind of like what a goat would have, or a ram or something? Yeah. Whoa, that's interesting. I got this at the Old Green Eyes Festival recently, and this lady was making them. I got a tag on it still. I can't see. All my lights are out tonight. Cryptid Conference. You guys go check out Cryptid Conference. I'm going to advertise for her. She's on Etsy, I think. Y'all go check her out. These are all handmade. Okay. Support your local cryptid artists, y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I love it. I've covered the sheep squatch before. I've covered all the cryptids on my show. It feels like it. But they're also different. And also you guys, we have goat men too, Amber. I don't know if you've ever come across a goat man, but those seem to be pretty popular and showing up.
And like I said earlier, there's hundreds, if not thousands, that we don't have names for, that we just kind of like put them in a category of what they might be, you know, sometimes based off experiences or like people's description, but there's a lot of unnamed that we don't know what to call them. Like I know the Bigfoot that I communicated with here a couple years ago, he did not like that name. And he gave me a name to call him, but he said they just prefer hairy people. Like if I'm going to call him anything, it's kind of like that's just our name for him. But I don't know if did it hurt their feelings? I don't know. Maybe they don't think they have big feet. I don't know.
Well, proportionally, they're not that big for them.
Right. Yeah.
See, I literally do have big feet. Okay. And I am not ashamed of my big feet. I have a firm foundation. Okay. I had to learn to cope with all the jokes when I was a kid because I had big feet. And so, yes, maybe that's why I am a Bigfoot, you know, I'm not going to say, I guess, a researcher now, but anyways, yeah, you know, I've heard that from people before. You know, I do, for the sake of like me doing my presentations and having a show, I will always call them Bigfoot until I'm told otherwise. But I've had people complain about that with me before. They're like, you know, they don't like being called Bigfoot, you know, Sasquatch or the forest people. Sometimes, you know, I try to be accommodating.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'll call them Bigfoot, Sasquatch when I'm like doing something like this. But if I'm out in like on the ground, if I'm out boots on the ground,
yeah,
I won't think that or say that. I'll just be like, hey, are there hairy people here? Are there, you know what I mean? Like, or a hairy man, woodman, you know, whatever. I'll ask that way.
That's a respect thing. I can appreciate that. I personally would not want to be called hairy, but I don't have hair like that. So I'm just kidding. But I do have big feet. So, oh my gosh. Well, here's another thing. Okay. Well, I wanted to kind of go back to you're mentioning like pyramids, and that's something that, oh man, I want to look more into like all of our hidden history that we have. Now, I don't know about West Virginia. I haven't really I don't think I've ever had anybody from my channel from West Virginia except for you. I don't think I have, unless anybody in the audience can remind me. I think you're the only person I've had on my show from West Virginia. And but I've had people from all over this, especially the South. We're all talking about the pyramids, the history that has been covered up, that we don't know. And I think that is the root of a lot of these hauntings that we're having, because I think that the history is much more, I think it's a lot richer of a history than we're told. I think a lot of our history has been covered up with these man-made lakes, Amber. All the dams that they've put up around the 1920s, the 1800s, the 1950s, they were covering up, they were excavating, like very roughly excavating. I don't think they did a very good job personally, but excavating like Indian burial mounds and also ancient Egyptian temples and things like that under a lot of these lakes that are now national parks and owned by the power companies. And so I think that my personal belief is that's what the root cause of a lot of these hauntings, and even cryptids being around these areas.
Yeah. I mean, people that run this world have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to they perfect it, like covering things up. And the less we know, the more control they have over us. So you're never going to get the full truth out of anybody that's a part of that cover up.
Exactly. You know what? That's why people like you and I, who have experience with cryptids and a psychic connection to the world around us, can come on here and have conversations like this, just to put it. I'm not trying to like expose anything, because I don't know nothing about nothing. Okay. But I do think that it's important that we do a little more digging, especially for people who live around those man-made lakes. Some of the most haunted locations in Georgia are the lakes. We have a lake here in Georgia called Lake Lanier, and I've gone swimming in it. I probably shouldn't, but I didn't know back then. But swimming and boating, and numerous people die on that lake every single year. And they dive in, and they're never, some of them, I think most of them, their bodies have been recovered. But there are full villages and towns and communities and billboards and church steeples and graveyards and all that is underneath that lake.
So last year we went to another state park in West Virginia that has a lake where you can swim. It was probably around the beginning to middle of summer. We went a couple of times, and the first time we went, when we got home, we all got sick. Like, I'm talking like just fever, just really sick. My daughter was sick. My mom was sick. Her sister and my cousin who went, everybody just felt bad, right? And we just didn't even really think about it that way. But then we went back again, and it happened again. So I'm like, okay, there's something up with this area. And I start looking into it, and you would not believe the bodies that have been pulled out of that water, and ones that were left there for a long time and never, like, they were pulled out months or years later. And I'm like, we just swam in that stagnant crap. Like, never again. But yeah, we've done that. We've swam where.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you look at some articles and stuff about Lake Lanier, and I had my good buddy, I had one of my buddies on the show recently, and he has a sailboat on that lake, and he stays on that lake pretty often. I mean, it's a huge lake, right? It's Lake Lanier. And but I asked him, because I'd read that like the water is the consistency of Jell-O. And I was like, and I asked him, he said, absolutely not, because I hadn't been to the lake in years. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, maybe it's just sludge and it's changed, but because it's just kind of gross. Okay, I'm just saying it's just kind of gross. And I've located at least one, maybe two, like, I want to say bodies from remote viewing missing persons cases. They were in that lake. It's also a dumping ground. So people do use these lakes as dumping grounds and all that. And some people say that when they're swimming in these lakes, it feels like a hand's grabbing them from the bottom and jerking them down into the water. Yeah. Man.
I love water, but I love water. I love ocean water, but it's also so dangerous at the same time.
It is. I think the water is also like running water, especially is a conductor to like manifest the paranormal, I think too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, like creeks and stuff. That's actually like when I heard my own voice from across the creek one night, like a running water source. Mm-hmm. I was hiking into this area that we do we have like it's one of our main areas that we go and do a bunch of research for like cryptids and UFOs and all that stuff. And as I was hiking in, I was passing by this running water source, and that's where I heard my voice scream, "Time travel!" The voice said "time travel," and and the other two people with me didn't hear it. I was the only one that heard it. And so there we go back to like in the beginning of the show tonight. I was saying like, well, there's kind of this weird gray area to where like, am I hearing something out of another realm, or is there actually a person standing over there? I don't really know. Mm-hmm. And then you hear your own voice. It's like, well, is that a mimic, or is that me time traveling, doing a deep mind probe? I don't know what the heck's going on.
So I'm going to tell you something, and some people may have heard this, but I go to some events. I think this happened at Fairfield or Indiana. Was it Fairfield? Fairfield County Infirmary. They have a FICON every year. And I think it was last year, but a lot of people may know Kalani Ghost Hunter. He used to do lives on TikTok all the time. He does paranormal. Well, his wife and I were having a conversation, and they were talking about, or she was telling me that they had been in a location and they were using a spirit box, and they connected with somebody. Like they were just having a conversation with somebody, but this guy was asking them to knock on something and asking them when they died. and he was like they were the ghost. And he was asking them to do things and to move something. And then he gave them his full name. So she said they go online, like on Facebook, and look up this guy's name. And the guy's father was high into time traveling, but then his page just stopped and he was nowhere to be found.
No way.
But this person was alive in this other timeline, or vice versa. He was acting like they were the dead ones.
Oh my God, Amber, that would be such a mind freaky thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like mentally, that would be really messed up. It's almost like, what is that movie? The Others with Nicole Kidman, and she's got her kids and you don't know. I'm not just trying to give the movie away, but I don't know. It's an old movie, so everybody's seen it probably. But they're like, she's living in this house with her kids, and like, turns out they're like ghosts or something, and they never knew it.
And they thought somebody else was the people moving in were like the dead people.
Yes, and it was so messed up because like they were having seances in the house because she and the kids were the ghosts that were living there, mm-hmm. and she didn't recall all three of them dying at some point. And man, that is wild. Yeah, it's just it's really weird how this reality works. Mm-hmm. We'll call it. We're all living our own weird little realities, I guess, but you just never know. You think you got it all figured out. Here's my point. We think we got it all figured out, Amber, but we don't know nothing.
No. And, I tell people that too. I'm like, if I will be the first one to admit that there's questions I can't answer. I don't know everything about what happens when you die. I try to ask people, but everybody has a different experience. What you think is going to happen a lot of times will happen the way you want it to. It's your mindset. We have free will in life and in death, and our energy is never destroyed. So, everybody's death is going to look different. Everybody's life is going to look different. And I told people, if anybody ever tells you they know all of it, they are lying. Run away from those people, because we'll never learn all of it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I am humble enough to tell everybody I really don't know much about anything. I mean, I do. I feel like when I was younger, or when I first got into like the research and stuff, I used to think that I had it figured out, and I was like, oh, it's this way, and I'm finally getting the answers I've been looking for. And then something else happens that shifts that paradigm, and it's like, all right, I have to start from ground zero now, because it's even more weird than I could have ever imagined. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I have to.
So you want to get a little weirder for a minute?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's get weirder.
All right. So for those of, okay, so did I freeze? Maybe a little.
I think you froze,
Okay.
but it's coming back.
I think I'm frozen. Can you hear me?
I'm the one. I can still hear you. Yeah. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It's all weird looking. Hold on.
Here. I can hear you. I've been the one that was freezing up all night too, by the way. So let's see. Amber's frozen. Amber, if you want to.
Okay. I might be frozen for a minute.
Okay. Hey, if you want to log back and then come back on.
Starlink, but out in the holler, it's not the strongest.
Hey, at least
so
Starlink.
For those now, I'm doing it. Let me see if I can hear you.
I can hear you better.
Wait a little bit. Okay.
You're coming back.
Should I go down and back in? Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
I can see you. Can you hear me?
But you guys can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Yeah.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
You live down in the hollow.
So when I asked you, I was like, you want to get Yes.
Yeah.
You want to get a little stranger. So for those who don't know,
Yes.
I also do readings, and I do karmic past life readings, future readings, current readings, mediumship readings, the whole thing. But when I do past life readings, I always ask guides to show me a karmic past life, which that means that it has to, whichever past life I'm channeling, it has to pertain with something to do with your life now. What good would it do if you've had 300 past lives and one of them, like, you just dug holes for a living and you had, it doesn't help. How's that going to help you in life? So I want to help people when I do this. So I asked Jessica a couple hours ago if I could channel one of her karmic past lives and share it with her on the show. Are you ready?
Yes, please. I can't wait.
Okay. So I probably should have found a bigger piece of paper, but I've got everything written down on.
Oh my God.
6 pages.
I'm a little nervous now.
Okay. So this timeline is the 1640s, like 1642. This is a long time ago, over 400 years ago.
Wow.
Probably more than that. But and I see you're a female in this life, and you've got long dark hair. You're on a white horse, and you've got this burgundy, like deep red, like long coat on, and you got a sword. So you are, and I did pick up it's England, around in England. So you're protecting a castle, like you're helping people away. I'm not sure what the situation was going on, but there were people coming after this place, and you're trying to and you weren't afraid of them. Like you're up in their face. I saw one vision of you've got this sword to this guy's neck, and you're telling him to go. You're standing your ground.
Yes.
You were not married at this time, and I felt like you were in your early 20s, so before 25, like somewhere through there. Very humble in this life, but you were wanting to prove that you could do anything a man could do, because it was not I felt like it was not really something women did then. This was like this heroic thing. Like a few women did it, but not many. And you were wanting to prove that you could do whatever a man can do, and you're going to do it better.
Oh man, it's like every lifetime.
And then I got to read my writing. So
that's pretty badass.
So, and then I saw this vision, and it almost plays like a movie when I do these channelings, and you're in this bar room with older guys, everybody's drinking, and you're kind of hanging out with them, drinking these drinks, these beers or whatever. And then you had a few years had passed. You did this for a couple of years. And then you started falling in love with this guy, and he was, like a warrior, a soldier, and he had a dirty blonde hair. And I don't know that's just what I saw. but he had to go away. He had to go away for a battle, and he never returned. So you went through this this heartbreak and shut yourself down. So, and I think that would translate into this lifetime. It's you may have a guard up when it comes to romance or with people, and you're not really sure where that comes from, but it's like you felt like you just got burned. Like he should have came back to you. And I don't think you ever knew whether he was alive or dead. Do you know what I mean? Like you didn't want to believe he was dead. But it really bothered you in this life. It was just something that you kind of thought about a lot. And then I immediately see you on the same horse, and you're in the woods, and you still have your sword, and you catch a glimpse of a unicorn. Okay. And it's like in this life, you understood that the woods were enchanted. You saw a unicorn. I don't know that if you mentioned to anybody, but you would look for it. So for over 400 years, when you were on Earth, you're still searching for these things that people don't think existed. But I felt like back then people knew. Okay, people knew. It was a lot more acceptable then, which is crazy to think that we've gotten to a place where it's not acceptable. And you just caught this glimpse of it. So you kind of went out and you were searching for it. You're like, what is this thing? Let me see. So then eventually you end up having, you meet somebody and you have a couple of kids, but he passes away long before you do. So then again, it's like bringing up the heartbreak from before, and you're just kind of like still guarding yourself.
Oh man.
You aren't really in love with this guy. It was the first one, and it always was. Let me see.
This actually kind of makes sense in my life today. I'm just going to put it, I'm going to keep it private, but I'm just saying.
Right. Wow, I know. And some stuff like this comes up, and I can't help it.
And you and I have never talked about this. I haven't talked to you in a long time, Amber. This is interesting what you're saying. Just okay. We'll talk in private later.
Yeah. Let me see here it is.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
So, and where this is going to come into play right now is that I feel like you're going to, you just may have those issues of what if they leave? I don't want to get too close to somebody. What if they leave? What if, you don't want your heart to get broken? You're going to keep a guard up. There's ways to work on that, but it's definitely stemming from that. And I think it's definitely not a coincidence that you're still looking for these creatures, over 400 years later, just in a different way. I don't know if you've ever had like experiences with unicorns, if you like them, if you're drawn to them. But if you are, that's most likely why. And then let me see.
Absolutely. I'm into all the cryptids and stuff because I know they've existed at some point. I know they have.
So
that's why I'm so passionate about it.
You're tying up loose ends, the ones you didn't finish in that one. And you have soul attachments to other realms. So it's like the enchanted forest. And I know we hear stories about that, like it's in movies or there's the enchanted forest, but there really are enchanted forest.
There are. I actually went camping a few years ago down at I can say their name now, but back then I was asked to keep it private. There's a family there, the Bridges. They were featured on like the Animal Planet or Travel or something. They had Bigfoots in their yard down in Florida, North Florida, Chattahoochee, I think, area. And we got there. We were going to go camp out in their yard. They had a big yard, but they had a big sign on it that said Enchanted Forest right when we pulled in. So I have camped out in the Enchanted Forest before.
So, and then right here, I know you can't see it. It's just a bunch of scratch, but I put on here that right now I currently pick up on a maternal motherly figure around you. And it's almost like she's like been this light for you, right? She's helping you. And this is somebody that you've lost in this lifetime. And I felt like there was something to do with the throat, lungs, and heart. It was kind of like a combination. There could have been emphysema or heart failure, but this person struggled to breathe toward the end. But also, she said, when you tell her this past life, tell her that I saw that unicorn too. I was in that lifetime with her.
Oh
I
my
don't know if
gosh.
it was to you, but she knew it was there. She saw it too. So she's like, hey, this is cool. She wants you to know that she's got your back 100%. But like I said, I don't know if this is like a mother, grandmother, but I felt maternal and motherly figure. And
Oh yeah, my grandmothers were badass. Both of them, especially the one that just passed away recently, Miss Nellie, my mom's mom. She was right there with me. She was one of my biggest supporters. So probably her.
yeah,
I'm assuming.
that I felt like yeah, she definitely, there was something with gurgly or like, something with like fluid, heart
Oh
and
yeah,
lungs.
she had that. I was there. I was the first person that got to her when after she passed away, actually. And yes, that did happen.
But yes,
Interesting.
she
You're
wanted you to
goody.
know that she saw the unicorn too. So I don't know if she was a
Yeah.
male in that life. I did not go back in and like try to figure that out because that was at the end, when she was like, hey, tell her I saw it too. So, she could have been
Oh,
a male, female, who knows? We're different things in different lifetimes, but she was there with you. So you've always had that soul, once we have soul contracts and soul connections with people, they're typically in most of our, maybe they're your mailman in
that's
one life,
right.
maybe they work at the grocery store, but it's kind of like
Yes.
if you've ever experienced meeting somebody and you look at them and you're like, I know them from somewhere, but I've never met them. It's that.
Mm-hmm. I get that with so many people, Amber, when I meet people and and I've come to the realization over the past like 10 years that everybody is in my life for a purpose. Okay. And we're all just playing roles basically. And it's
Mhm.
kind of fun. I just have fun with it at this point, and I try not to take life too seriously because I know like not that, I mean, I've been hurt a lot, you know what I mean? By a lot of people that I trusted and stuff. But then I'm like, well, we're all just here to teach each other lessons and stuff too.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm going to talk to them anymore. You know what I mean? That kind of
Mhm.
stuff. But I'm just saying, I just know there's more to this,
Oh
there's more
yeah,
to it.
100%.
Yeah. God, I love that. Amber, thank you for channeling that for me. That is actually, I just got a text message from a friend of mine. It was like, Amber has got you down to a T. That is your exact life. This is parallel to your life. With the unicorn, the swords on men's necks and all that. That's me. That's me. Thank you, Susan. Yeah. That 100%
Yeah, I
sounds like
mean,
me.
you're just it's kind of like you're finishing off that aspect of it,
Yeah.
just in a different way, but you're still working on the same thing that your soul wanted to work on 400 years ago, which I think is fascinating.
Well, I got to get it right, apparently. This is the lifetime to get it right. I don't want to keep coming back here, Amber. I don't want
Same,
to keep coming back.
but
I
not me.
will if I have to, I guess. I mean, it comes down to it. Sometimes, here to help raise the
Mhm.
consciousness and all that is what I've been told. And that's what I believe. And, but I don't know. We better wake everybody up this lifetime so we don't have to come back, y'all.
At
Okay.
some point, it's almost like when we go back into our original form, our soul, our energy, it's almost like when you ask a drunk person if they want to go do something, they're like, yeah, sure, I'll go do it. And then when you come to, you're like, why'd I do this? I feel like that's what our soul is like that drunk person agreeing just to go do whatever and come back and live all these crazy things.
Oh
And
my
then we're
God.
like, well,
Yeah, I did that several times when I was young. I'd be like, oh, why did I agree to, even when you're not drunk, you'll do that
right.
sometimes. You're like, oh man, why did I agree to do this? I'd rather do nothing and sit at home. Okay. Sometimes, but yeah, we've all been there. We've all done it. People will catch you at a good point when you're feeling good and feeling great. And then when it comes down to it, you don't want to do what you promised to do, when you're
Mhm.
feeling good. Okay. And all that. So I don't know. I think that's wonderful. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've had so many past lives. I think you nailed it on the head with that one. I really do. I do actually feel like I do recall some past lives that I've had,
Mhm.
and that lines up with a lot of them. I've not tapped into that one particular one, but I'm kind of scattered around, and they all do kind of this almost kind of the same story for every lifetime, but a different body, a different
Mhm.
situation. So
Yeah,
that makes
sometimes
total
sometimes
sense.
we wait a few years, but some people can just come back to back. You know,
Yeah, I like
I
to
did
think I
in my life,
came.
and it was rough.
Oh yeah,
I saw everything that happened, and it was so crazy.
really? Do you do this for people? Like if someone
Mhm.
wanted to like hit you up and like make an appointment with you? Do you do these past life regression? And I don't,
We
you don't call it
do.
regression, but
Just a channeling is what I call
mhm.
it. Just past life channeling, karmic past life. Yeah, usually they'll just send me an email and we'll go over everything. And then I have an audio thing, so I will put this all on audio for them. The entire. I just need your name. Like I don't even need your last name. It's not that fancy. I don't need to know your birthday. I don't need none of that. But I will channel your what happened and how it pertains to this life and things you can do to help, kind of like to help with certain things of it. But I do other types of readings, but most of them, the only ones I really don't do on audio or mediumship, I can, but I'd rather talk to you face, like sort of like this. Obviously it wouldn't be live, but
Yeah.
just face to face. But yeah, I'll send them on audio. That way they have them forever. And can share it
I
with whoever
mean,
they want.
I highly recommend it, y'all. Please make an appointment with Amber. That was so cool, Amber. I really do appreciate that so much. And it falls right in line with some memories that I have. And I don't know if I just and things that I've also I've had like psychic readings with people before too, and have been told some things. I've even had like ghost box sessions and stuff where the voices came through and were telling me, they were my guys and stuff were telling me about all my past lives and stuff. Not all of them, but some of the more recent ones, they said. And those were interesting too. And I wasn't always a female, y'all. Okay, we're not always the same gender that we are every time, every lifetime.
Not always the same country. Yeah, it's always something different.
Have you heard about those people that like go into like they fall and they get like amnesia or they hit their head and then like they'll wake or they'll go just going under for a surgery and they'll come out and they're speaking a whole new language?
Yes.
And they're like, I don't know. Their spouse is like, they've never spoken Spanish before, but now he's speaking fluent Spanish only.
Would that not be crazy though? I've had so many surgeries. I'm like, I'm glad it hasn't happened to me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be weird. But to me, I mean, I think that's tapping into a past life or something. I mean, or like my friend Barry says, he says that there are earthbound spirits that will jump bodies while you're in the hospital. But they usually go to the kids. What if it's like an earthbound spirit jumping in that person's body?
I'll tell you something funny. I was telling you before the show that I have to have vocal cord surgery again next month. It'll be the second time in the same place from an injury from a state park of a missing person. But anyways, the first surgery I had was about 4 years ago. And I remember they took the tube out of my mouth and they were still taking me to recovery. And the lights, like the lights above us were just flickering like crazy. Then I could hear the nurses freaking out. The phone rang, nobody was there. And she was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, it's because I'm here. Like I could barely talk. My mouth was all messed up. And I'm like, and they're like trying to ask me questions. And then they were both like, why did you say that? I'm like, I'm a medium and the ghosts are just messing with you. They were freaked out. They were ready to clock out and go home. But it was so cool. It was just with the whole line. We were walking and the lights are flickering and they were scared. I'm like, I'm sorry.
There's so many spirits there. Barry's in the chat. That was Barry's comment. It says earthbound spirit possession. Thanks, Barry. Earthbound spirit possession. And he's talked before about how they'll sit around and like wait for children to be born and hop into their bodies. And I mean, that's sinister in my opinion. But also like those MRI machines and stuff, like those are known to like, I mean, I got a story I can tell you. I don't know. There's someone who used to be very close to me. Let's just say that had to go get like an MRI. Something happened, and he freaked out. Let's just say, let me fast forward to when we got him home eventually, and his eyes were completely black, Amber. After that experience with this MRI, it wasn't just because of the MRI machine, but I don't know if like I don't know what the deal is with MRI machines, but there's something that I don't know if people can get possessed while they're in there or what, but he did. He definitely did. Like something happened, and it was like a demon had taken over that dude.
Did he ever work on it? Like did figure it out?
He never. No, I don't think so. No, we just got a divorce. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. It's not funny, but I'm just saying it was really bad. It was very bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's got something to do with MRI machines. Maybe it's like a portal or a gateway or something. And
lots of energy, like a
Yeah.
ton of energy at one time.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm. It's a mini CERN. That's what
yeah.
Cheeky Blue says. It's a mini CERN. I don't know. That's interesting. There's something to it, but I don't know. We've got people in the chat saying we've got to bring you back, Amber, and I agree. This has been a wonderful show tonight.
Yeah, this was fun. And
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
the mountain, going back to that for a second, I think I'd messaged you. It was last year, and you were like kind of booked up, and I was like, maybe you could remote view this mountain and tell me what you see there. But then I think you were like,
oh
it hold me
yeah,
like 4 weeks, and then we both just forgot. So, but
Yeah.
that's the one I was speaking of. Like, it's because there's so much there, you know.
What is it? Brown Mountain?
No, the one where the Gugway are here in West Virginia.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm so sorry, Amber.
I've got a
We
video,
both got busy.
an actual humanoid ET-ish creature that I was like, you know, and I was like, what the F was that? You hear that a lot in my videos. and I pan the camera around and you can see it squatted down and it stands up and it's got like this odd shaped head and it's a body. It's a person. Well,
Ew.
it's not a human person, but like, there's so much there. There's so much there.
Have you one last thing before we go tonight? What about pale crawlers? What do you think about those? We're having like I call it an epidemic of pale crawler reports. What do you think about those things?
I've never seen them. And now that I say that, I probably will.
I know. You're going to manifest it now.
Yeah, probably. Have you experienced them or like seen them anywhere?
I personally don't think that I've seen one with my own eyes. Not yet. I have remote viewed them. I have done that. And I've been on an expedition. We went up to an investigation up in Middle Tennessee, North Tennessee, and to a Skinwalker cave. And oh, by the way, Hillary wants to know what mountain is it in West Virginia where that was. She knows all about the Dollar General portals, by the way. We'll talk about that later if you want to know about the Dollar General portal.
I would say like 80% of the mountains in West Virginia are going to have stuff like that in them. At least the ones I've been to. And I've traveled most of the state, you know. West Virginia is really far from West Virginia in some parts because it's just, you know, there's a lot of forest land but yeah, they're definitely creepy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was going to finish my story about the incident. So we were at this Skinwalker cave, and I did not. It was really creepy, and I didn't feel like going back in the very back. Like the guys had on ropes and stuff, and they went really far back in this cave. I just kept watch at the mouth of the cave. I did not want to go all the way back there with them, and so they got back there, and when their ropes had finally run out. One of the guys whistled, and you live in Appalachia, you know not to whistle at night, right? But he whistled at the back of that cave, and something peeked its head out from the shadows, further back from where they could reach, and it looked like a pale crawler. So there was something in there. Maybe it was a Skinwalker. They said it looked like a pale crawler.
Are the ones you're talking about the ones that are like humanoid, or are they ones that are like actually crawling on the ground?
Oh, look, you want to see a picture? I've got some pictures right here. I can get my computer to work here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, they crawl on the ground.
Oh,
and yeah, that's one. I mean, that's from a video. Those are like that's a still shot from a video. I mean, I have to wonder like why. I mean, I think they come from inner Earth. They come from the caves, but it's like, what is their purpose? You know, not that we all have to have a purpose. I mean, I know people that sit on the couch all day have no purpose. You know what I mean? They're not doing a whole lot. But I'm just saying, I think that everything does have some sort of a purpose. I really do. So I don't know. What do you think, Amber?
Okay. When I saw the picture there, it immediately made me think of there's some lore about the moon-eyed people that with pale skin in West Virginia that like live in the caves and underground. And they would walk like that and look like that. So maybe they're sort of one and the same, you know, like maybe just different areas, call them different things. I think it's a moon-eyed. I'm trying to think.
I don't know what they are, except for just pale crawlers. Some people call them rakes. Okay, I think that's like the creepypasta name for it. But nonetheless, they're not very exciting to have around. And
yeah, I think
especially in your backyard,
because it could definitely be one of the like the moon-eyed people that are like, you know, I'm pretty sure I've got a story in my Appalachian Mostly True Scary Stories book about something of that nature.
Ooh.
So,
Let's tell the
that
audience about your book.
yeah, the
Let me pull it
Appalachia,
up.
Mostly True Scary Stories is my newest one, and it's got. I wrote about Brown Mountain before we went. I wrote about all these different things, but it's about real cryptids and locations, but the scenario is made up. That's why it's called Mostly True Scary Stories. The Dead in Me is more of like just my experiences I've had since I was really little, and different places I've been to, and entities, spirits that I've encountered, and their stories.
Oh my gosh, I love your album. Yeah, the album, your book cover. I think the art is amazing.
Well, thank
I love
you.
that. It's really creepy. It's very freaking creepy.
If you guys catch me at live events, I do book signings. I have them with me when I do live events, and I do post those ahead of time.
That's amazing. And then you also have the Dead in Me as well. That's great. And is this your first book that you wrote?
Yes, that one's
That's
more
awesome.
of like my, how I got started, like what my experiences from the time I can remember, all the way until going to locations, kind of like takes you through it all.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So you guys can buy Amber's books on Amazon. So you guys go check them out over there. And yeah, so you do live events. You do psychic readings live and stuff like that too, because we have psychic fairs around here.
Yes.
Y'all have those?
Not near my holler, not my neck of the woods.
Not near your holler
for stuff like that.
Yeah.
But usually I go to. I think this year I do have planned to be at Gretsch Fest again in Ohio. You should look into that. It was fun. The legend, the lore of Gretchen's Lock, that was really interesting. I liked it. It was hotter than crap last year, but it was it was fun. And then I'll be at possibly the ISS Con for Indiana, Billy Creek, the area. I'm not sure what else I'll add to it, but I was kind of waiting to see if I had to have a knee replacement before I planned too many things.
Well, sweet. Hold on. I think I've got one more thing. Hold on. I got to upload a picture if I got it on here. My computer is just like super duper slow tonight. So yeah, well, so you have, where all can people find you too? Because you've got your YouTube channel. You do post videos on your YouTube channel.
Yes, I usually, typically I would post 3 or 4 out in the middle of the woods videos, but ever since Thanksgiving, I've really slacked. I've been out once. I've had 3 surgeries since Thanksgiving, one yesterday. So I've had a lot
yesterday.
And not only that, we've had snow since November. It's been freezing cold. I'm not interested in going out with 47 coats on and 3 below 0 to film anything. So once it starts to, I heal up a little and it warms up, I'll definitely be back out there in the woods.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being here tonight. And despite you just having surgery yesterday, when I talked to you today, I was like, wait, you just had surgery, so we can do this another time. And you're like, no, let's do it.
Yeah.
So you're a trooper, Amber.
So much better than my wrist surgery. I felt like crap for weeks, but this one, I'm good. I just hope it helps.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, that is so wonderful. Okay, well, y'all, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. This has been sticking with us for this evening, and for spending your Valentine's Day with me and Amber. Y'all are all my Valentines tonight. This is my dog man Valentine guy, I guess. I don't know. I'll put this on social media.
Yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. And asking questions and been in the chat. And I'll type in my email one more time. If anybody does want a past life reading, just email me. I don't have a website. I've
got it. I can put it on the screen.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is it a Paraworld?
Yes.
Paraworld@gmail.com.
Yeah. Just holler at me. I mean, like I said, I'll do future readings. We can do, if you want mediumship, we can, if you're having like experiencing a haunting or, something's going on, just holler at me. I can psychically view what you've seen and let you know what's going on.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Thank you so much for my past life channeling tonight. I am blown away by that because it just lines up with exactly what I actually kind of felt like I'd done that before, to be honest with you. So I definitely do carry speak softly and carry a big sword is my motto.
I know, and as soon as I saw the image of like you seeing this glimpse of this unicorn, I'm like, no way. Like
That is wild.
she's still out looking for him.
I'm still doing it because I know they're there.
Mhm.
Just gotta, I don't know, bring them back, I guess. Dragons. I know somebody, I think Eric in the chat was like, well, she is the mother of dragons. Okay. I've probably been that too. Okay. I actually was looking at our dogs and I was like, those are my dragons right there. My little dragon dogs. So, but anyways, oh man. Okay. Well, y'all, thank you so much again, Amber, for being here. Y'all go to Amber's Paraworld.
Wait, there's the dwarf. I sold my goats. I don't have any more. I just have dogs and cats now and a turtle named Pepsi.
A turtle named Pepsi. Oh my God, that's so cute. Let me pull the comments back up. Oh, dwarf goats. Oh, because that's Bigfoot dwarf. He probably likes dwarf.
Well, I had goats. We milked goats and raised goats for like a decade. So,
yeah. Did you guys make soap?
2 years ago because like I said, I've got bad knees. I'm like, my wrist was messed up. I'm like, I do good to run out the woods. Like if something is going to come and get me, a hairy man, Skinwalker, whatever, I can't run from that. So I'm gonna have to fight him, but I can't run and chase goats anymore. Like my body's breaking down.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, goats can be a lot of work too, a little bit. My sister has goats at her house.
Mine would want to, if they can get their head through a piece of the fence, like mess it up, they're gone.
They'll do it.
And they're going to jump off the 2 acres they're in and go run down the road to a neighbor's house and eat their grass and flowers.
Oh my God.
It was just like a habit.
Oh my gosh. Our animals, gotta love them, man.
I know.
Gotta love them. That's sweet. Well, oh my gosh. Okay. Well, everybody, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you so much. Let me thank everybody for the super stickers real quick. Who all gave our super stickers tonight? Kent Baxter, Susan Fuller, what's up? And Elise Tanner. Thank you guys so much for that. And I want to thank all of our channel members over here and all the Patreon members as well. And thank y'all so much for everything. I hope y'all had a wonderful Valentine's Day. And Amber, please come back and hang out with me again very soon. Yeah, we'll have to do woods together sometime. Do something fun. Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun.
Okay. Well, sweet, y'all. Okay, and to go to Amber's Paraworld. Hold on. Let me pull the banner up one more time before we go. Because I don't think I pulled up all my banners yet. I made these things. I'm going to show them. Okay. Author Amber Joslin. Yeah, that's your last name, actually. So it's not Amber's Paraworld. It's your full name on Amazon.
Yes. Yeah, if you just type my name in, it'll come up. Or you can type the name of the books. And sometimes there's other books with, I guess, similar word, like catchwords, so that it might bring up other ones.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and then this is all over social media and YouTube. Y'all go find Amber. Craig DeVille and all my moderators, can't think of the name. My moderator's been putting your links in the chat all night too. Thank you guys so much for doing that. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. All right, Amber, have a wonderful night. Please stay safe out there, and especially if you're doing that Randonautica, please be safe.
I haven't done that for a while. Okay. I'll let you try it now and see how you feel about it. But I do tell everybody one thing. So right now I have like this I don't know, like a giveaway going on Facebook and Instagram, and there's information on it on my Amber's Paraworld page on Facebook or on Instagram. But I'm giving away a past life reading, so it'll be 100% free, and you just have to. There's directions in it, so if anybody's interested in that, sign up for it.
Go check out our Facebook page, y'all. Amber's Paraworld. Be there or be square. And thank you again so much for my channel tonight. I think the audience enjoyed that too. That was fun. And y'all go get your own over there with Amber. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful night, y'all. Thanks again for all the support and all the love. And I will see you guys back here on Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And I'll see y'all there. All right, Amber. We'll see you later. Y'all have a good night. Bye, y'all.